don't want someone to respond because you can't handle my arguments. So you mute me. That's what you do.
Go ahead and respond. That was just because you were complaining.
Well, okay, so probably you'll go ahead and mute again if I keep talking, but I
keep complaining about it and I will.
So this is a joke now. This is funny.
It is actually it's hilarious. I'm having a really good time right now. Thank you so much.
I actually find it very entertaining myself. It's showing how dumb your arguments are because you just get to the point where you mute.
Dude, go for it. I'm just messing with you, man. Chill. It's the rage bait's working.
Yeah, I'm so raging right now. I just find it quite funny. So, and it'll probably happen again. I encourage it. It would be a total win if you mute me again. I would consider it a complete win. So, anyways, but yeah, historic Orthodox Christianity. Like I said, I don't need a verse because my point was it's the historic Orthodox Christianity of what people have believed throughout the history. Okay, that's the obvious point. It's very simple.
What has historic Orthodox Christianity thought about slavery?
Historic Orthodox Christianity has what's brought us out of slavery, actually.
Really?
And I'm glad you brought this up. I love this question. I love this question about the Old Testament. And you can bring up genocide and you bring up slavery. That's great. Now, watch, you're probably going to mute me on it. But the point is, if you compare, are you going to talk about Old Testament Christianity slavery? Is that what you want to talk about?
No, I'm asking you, could you explain to me how historic Orthodox Christianity was anti-slavery in all respects and actually apparently under your view got us out of slavery?
Yeah, I mean, Augustine and people tried to lift people out of slavery. They did not like it. They talked against it. And they eventually, over time, they got rid of slavery. And that was a part of Christianity. That was a part of William Wilberforce, too, in England. And it was also a part of Abraham Lincoln in America. It grew out of
Abraham Lincoln didn't care about getting rid of slavery. He cared more about keeping the Union together than actually getting rid of slavery. Plus, the indication that specifically there were Christians that specifically advocated against Christianity is not evidence that the historic Orthodox Christian Church specifically advocated against slavery. Actually, historically speaking, slavery, especially by scholars, has been acknowledged to be an element of the Bible. Right? You can actually look in specifically Leviticus, right? In Leviticus, it tells you can own people who are outside of the state of Israel, right? Specifically as enslaved individuals, and you can pass them down to your children as inherited property for life, which is referencing chattel slavery. So this isn't even disputed historically by scholars.
Completely wrong, and it is disputed by scholars. And
can you name three?
Well, Gavin Ortlund would be one. Trent Horn would be one. So anyways, these scholars that you're going to have here.
Do you have a third?
Well, you can talk about William Lane Craig. I mean, who you want me to go off?
Wait, William Lane Craig?
Okay. So anyways,
Lane Craig
so as I was saying,
Trent Horn? I can't believe you cited Trent Horn and William Lane Craig.
It's not chattel slavery. It's indentured servitude. So it's very simple. People can look that up. Just type in those names and look that up. Don't just take what Parker's saying here, for example. I mean, look it up. I encourage.
By the way, so you just gave us people who are not scholars. One
debate between Gavin Ortlund and Trent Horn on slavery.
Go ahead.
And he's talking to the guys.
Yeah. So, but you didn't name scholars. You didn't mention scholars, right? One, two. Is it related?
People with PhDs.
Wait, you did not mention scholars, biblical scholars. That was not an example.
People
Those
with
three
PhDs
were not biblical
in
scholars.
The biblical field. People with PhDs in the biblical field.
PhDs in what?
In the biblical New Testament, philosophy of Christianity. I mean, different things.
Philosophy
different
of Christianity?
Textual.
You mean
you
theology?
Can look David Allen Black, Robinson,
You think that they have a PhD in theology?
These are all doctors.
What are you talking about?
These are all PhDs. These are all historic Christian. You don't know what you're talking about because you don't know these people.
Yes, I do. I know who
This
Trent
is out
Horn
of your league.
I know who William Lane Craig is. What do you mean it's out of my league? What are you talking about, dude?
Yeah,
William Lane Craig is not like some like really smart intellectual individual.
I know. Does he have a doctorate? Do you not know that he's a scholar?
Yeah, so a few things on this. So in terms of this, the three people you mentioned, not all of them specifically are scholars, right? That's one. Two, as it relates to this, let me continue to finish, right? Not legitimate theologians and scholars. Now, let me continue with it. In terms of the particular prescriptions, in terms of like the biblical notion, these aren't even from a historical Orthodox lens. Right? Could you give me any biblical scholars from the historical Orthodox Church that indicate that they were anti-slavery at all points in history?
I told you that I think you had two different questions in there, just to make sure I understand correctly. You had asked for historic Orthodox scholars and that they were against slavery At all times?
At all times in history, yes.
I mean, I can't give you that exactly. Can you give me people that were for it? Can you give me people that were for it?
Yeah.
Can you give me an exact quote?
I have to give you a quote of someone saying this.
Can you give me a citation? I know that's what you're asking for, so you can't prove that to me.
I got you.
I can tell you generally. That they were against it.
I can give you like historically, like scholars that have indicated this to be true, right? And I've given you even biblical texts.
Okay,
that
tell me three.
Tell me three in the context of Leviticus.
Tell me three, Parker. Tell me three.
Tell you three people that specifically
tell me three.
Supported slavery at points in history in the context of the Christian
religion. Tell me those
religion.
three historical scholars that you just mentioned. Tell me three.
Well, one, I'm not a Christian, so it wouldn't make sense. But two, as it relates to this,
so you're not telling me three.
Hold up. I named you names. Hold on, let me finish. You can't
even name me three. Just name me three. Stop wasting time and name me three. Don't go to your keyboard and click.
Keyboard. I'm on my laptop.
Name me three.
You'd be able to hear me typing on the keyboard. So
this is lame. Okay, what do you want to talk about now?
Wait, no, I can give you three historical scholars. Would you like me to do so?
Yeah, I'm waiting.
You just need to chill out. One, you asked for Orthodox, right? So I was asking you Orthodox specifically because you're making a prescription that, historically speaking, the historical Orthodox perspective is different from the perspective in terms of typical Christians, right? Or is that at least the argument you're making?
Wrong.
I promise I'll do this.
No. Incorrect.
That's not your argument?
I said Orthodox little o. I'm not talking about Eastern Orthodoxy. I made that specifically clear several times.
Any version of Orthodox. Any version of Orthodox. You're a Christian. I'm asking you at Christian scholars that you specifically go to yourself.
Yeah, on the topic of slavery, Gavin Ortlund and Trent Horn are probably the best.
Those aren't scholars. And those aren't historical Orthodox.
Yes, Gavin Ortlund historical is. Dr. Gavin, PhD, Dr. Gavin Ortlund certainly is.
Historical? No, I'm asking for historical examples.
Okay, scholarship has only been around for like 100 or 200 years. You can't ask me to present a scholar in the 400s because there's no PhDs in the 400s. That's stupid.
No, I never said in 400. I just said historically, right? If you're saying that there are no scholars, historically speaking, that make a determination on this, well, then you wouldn't be able to make a determination based upon any type of scriptures in terms of what scholars would indicate to be true. Like there's no scholarly basis to the Bible under your perspective?
No, there certainly is a scholarly basis to the Bible, and there's scholarly basis against it. Sure, I mean it goes both ways.
So what? So
don't you say there's scholars for the Bible?
So for historical Orthodox,
the Bible's true, and there's scholars that don't.
For historical Orthodox, what scholars do you look to?
Okay. For historical Orthodox, like I said, I'm using Orthodox very specifically, little o Orthodox, conservative historic Christianity. That would be, I said, probably the best on this topic is Dr. Gavin Ortlund. He had a debate with the two leading slavery study atheists in the Old Testament. He did it alongside with Trent Horn. Okay, that is my example.
Okay, so you've just named the same ones over and over again. These aren't historical examples. So I don't know.
Okay, what time period are you looking for? What historical example? Because I give you examples, and I think I understand what you're asking, but then you say it's not an example. So what century are you looking for, buddy?
I'm looking for again, when I say historical Orthodox, do you know the Orthodox Church historically speaking?
Yes, and I've told you several times that's not what I'm talking about.
Why are you giving me modern individuals?
Because you don't understand the difference between Eastern Orthodox and little o Orthodox. This is crazy.
Okay, but even if that was the case, that doesn't mean that you're providing me someone historically speaking that is indicated.
That's what I just did. You're just not accepting it.
Okay. So you didn't give me anyone historically. You gave me people that are alive today, correct?
Okay, so if I tell you somebody that's dead, then
someone that has been alive in the past. Because
C.S. Lewis.
Does C.S. Lewis agree with your position?
Yes.
Really? So
C.S. Lewis was against slavery. He also was against abortion.
At all points in history. Even in the past, right, under prescriptions in the Old Testament, when God said that Israelites could own people from other countries as enslaved individuals, right, you're saying that he did not support, at that point in history, the enslavement of people outside of the context of the state of Israel. Yeah,
okay, let me explain that. That's good. I'm so glad you brought. I love to talk about the thing of slavery in the Old Testament because everybody in the Old Time in the Old Testament during these times, they had slavery. The other code during that time was the Code of Hammurabi. Now, during that time, they had this slave. Christianity actually lifted people out of owning them, out of that type of chattel slavery
answer
during
my
that
question?
time. They
No,
made
you're
it
not addressing
indentured.
this
They
as
made it
chattel slavery.
indentured
So,
servitude.
no, answer the question. Did C.S. Lewis specifically say, right, that it is the case that at all points in history, slavery is wrong?
Yes.
Okay, so
Christians have said that.
C.S. Lewis disagreed with the biblical text, indicating that at a certain point in history that slavery was justified. Is that your perspective?
No. You're trying to make a. You're trying to say Old Testament slavery was chattel slavery. It wasn't. It was indentured servitude.
What is chattel slavery and what is indentured servitude?
Chattel slavery is more like what America's slavery was. Is more
Can you
like
tell me,
owning
no,
a
give us the
person.
definition instead of an example.
Owning. I mean, yeah, having rights over and owning another living person would be just a very brief, basic understanding of chattel slavery.
One that's granted in both Exodus and Leviticus, and that's not a definition of chattel slavery in particular, right? But
okay,
like,
I know.
based upon the way that you use,
it's not dictionary.
based upon the way that you use,
definition.
hold on, listen. Based upon the way that you use, again, Leviticus 25:44 through 46, then allows for chattel slavery.
Okay, again, as I was saying, it's indentured servitude when they talk about keeping someone alive.
No, it's
after
not.
They
Do
take,
you want me to read? Do you want me to read the verse?
Interrupting me, and you won't let me explain.
Because you lied.
That's why I tell people to go watch the debate. But it's indentured
That's fine.
servitude.
You're lying though.
Oh, okay. Well, you can sit here and say I'm lying, but I can sit here and say you're lying. That doesn't prove anything. But you won't let me finish. You won't let me finish explaining. I let you finish explaining, but you won't let me finish explaining.
Go ahead. I was just pointing out that you were lying.
Okay, well, I'll say you're lying too. But anyways, it's indentured servitude. Those passages you mentioned in the Exodus, those passages you meant in Leviticus, the Old Testament law lifted up slaves or indentured servants higher than any other code during that time. It brought people out of worse slavery examples. And because of that,
no, it was actually historically, it was actually worse conditions. If you want to actually look at the conditions,
I mean, what was it worse? What was better than the Old Testament law?
Yeah, so the Old Testament law, specifically in the context of Exodus, says you can beat people who are your slaves.
What was worse?
I'm trying to explain right now. If you let me explain. Yeah, so practically every, on average examples, right, would be better, given that it is the case that you compare it to this, because in the context of Exodus, it says that you can beat people insofar as they recover after a day or two. So any type of beatings applicable to someone who you enslave, right, would be justified under the moral law in Exodus because of the fact that it's written in that way. Would you like to read out the verse for us?
Yeah, and do you also
read
know
Exodus
when it says
21, 20 through 21.
If you kill your slave, your life shall be taken?
Can you answer the question? Exodus 21, 20 through 21. Can you give us and say out the verse?
I mean, I have to look it up. I can't quote it.
Okay. What version do you like?
Oh, let's just ESV is fine.
Okay. Well, you're looking it up right now. Seems like you can do that.
Yeah, and I think you are too.
No, I'm not. I'm not looking it up. You can look it up on your own thing and read it off. I'll thank some people in the meantime. DK, thank you so much for the $20. Thank you so much. I'll ask him what Ephesians 6:5-8 means in a minute. I actually cannot read the whole thing. Let me pull this to the side a little bit more. Helene, thank you so much for the $9 or $10. Thank you so much. And then Kenny, thank you so much for the $6. Thank you. What's good, everyone joining in, though? Again, we're in New York, everyone. That's why everything looks different. That's why the quality is different. Just letting everyone know. Just letting everyone know. Do give him a second to find this information real quick. He's going to read the verse, and then don't worry, we'll be able to get on to politics and whatnot. We're having this conversation because you brought this up as a reason as to why he supports Trump.
I'm happy to continue to talk about Trump. This came up from you, not from me.
No, you brought it up.
What you said, Exodus 20 versus what?
You brought up historical orthodox as the reason as to why you supported Trump. Exodus 21, 20 through 21.
I know, but you brought up slavery. I didn't bring up slavery.
Exodus 21, 20 through 21.
Exodus 21. I'll just look up. Okay, you want me to read it?
Yeah.
Okay, this is starting in verse 18. When men quarrel and one strikes the other and the stone with his fist, and the man does not die but takes to his bed, if the man rises again and walks outdoors with his staff, he who struck him shall be clear, only if he pay for the loss of his time, and shall and shall have him thoroughly healed. Verse 20, when a man strikes his slave, male or female, with a rod, and a slave dies under his hand, he shall be avenged. That's important. But if the slave survives a day or two, he is not to be avenged, for the slave is his money.
Is his property.
It says his money there,
And,
but again,
your money is your property, by the way.
Okay, so
let's clarify.
This.
Let's clarify real quick, right? Your verse that you just mentioned. Do you disagree with that verse at all points in history? Was that ever moral law?
Yes, I do. Slavery was wrong in the Old Testament, and it was wrong.
Wait, no,
in the
it was. It was just said it was okay.
Well,
it just said the slave is your property, so that you can literally beat them insofar as they recover after a day or two.
The way you're interpreting it,
I'm not interpreting it anyway. That's the words that it said. You tell me your interpretation, buddy.
Did you hear what I said in verse 20? It says if a slave dies, then his life shall be avenged. The slave.
Yeah, but if they recover after a day or two, there's no punishment.
You never answered my question. What was Christianity worse than?
Dude, wait, hold on.
What was better? What was a better law during the 4,000 to 600 AD?
There wasn't. No, I was giving you the specific verse in terms of the Exodus. This is exactly what was worse than the average at that particular time, because this is allowing for you to listen. This is allowing for you to beat people insofar as they recover after a day or two. So as long as they survive, you're saying it's okay to abuse them. That's what you just said, because they're your property.
Well, what's better?
That's what you just said.
What was a better system? What was a better system during this time?
The
Code of Hammurabi? That's wrong.
No, I'm not even saying that. I mean, even the code
then what was a better system? What was a better system?
Even the code of Hammurabi would have like an argument against slavery.
What was a better system at this time?
Well, even the code of Hammurabi was better than this, right? Because it wouldn't have allowed for slavery in that context.
You think the code of Hammurabi had better conditions for slaves than the Old Testament?
No, the code of Hammurabi indicated that you wouldn't even be able to engage in slavery. Otherwise, you'd be enslaved yourself.
No, that's not true. Give me a citation.
Wait, what is the code of Hammurabi?
The code of Hammurabi was a common law during that time, what people tried to live by.
Meaning, it's what?
Tell me, cite that. What you just said.
I'll tell you what it is. I'll tell you if you don't know what it is. I'll tell you. Do you know what the code of Hammurabi is?
Yes. I mean, it dictated things during this time that people tried to live by during the Old Testament time.
What was the standard?
What was the standard of what?
Dude, you brought it up as an example of comparing it to something, but you don't even know what it is. It's an eye for an eye. Dude, it's an eye. Yes, I understand. It's an eye for an eye. Okay, so if it is the case that you enslave someone, you will be enslaved yourself.
Where's that's not in the code.
Eye for an eye. That's what code of Hammurabi is.
Yeah. Okay, but that's no. The second part, the part where you said where you slave someone, you will be enslaved yourself.
Yes, that is literally what it provides grounds for.
All right. Let me look it up.
Yeah, look it up. I learned about this in college. Under that notion of it, right? And again, I'm talking about the average set of conditions at the time. By the way, Margot, thank you so much for the $10. Thank you so much, Margot. Amaya, thank you so much for the $15. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And Margot, I'll definitely have to check that one out. Leo, thank you so much for the $5. Siri, thank you so much for the $10. May, thank you so much for the $1. Thank you. Trans rights are human rights. Absolutely. Lars, thank you so much for the $20. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Yes, that's one I brought up earlier. Feisty with the $50 on Venmo. Thank you so much, Feisty. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Ashley with the $1. Thank you. Kaylin, thank you so much for the $5. And Jonathan, thank you for the $11.11. Thank you very much. Kate, thank you for the $2 as well. Angelica, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $1. Thank you. As well as Roberta, thank you for the $10. All right, we're going to address this, and then we'll move on to the Trump again.
All right, well, this was from Grok and Gemini. The Code of Hammurabi did not have a specific law stating if you enslave someone, you will be enslaved. Instead, it had harsh penalties for helping slave escape, such as death for aiding a runaway palace slave or harboring one in your home. The code had different penalties for slaves.
Ask it what the Code of Hammurabi is.
The Code of Hammurabi was a Babylonian law.
And what does it do? What's the standard?
What the Babylonians came up with. It was carved on stone. It had all different kind of laws like the Old Testament. I don't know what you're asking. Family law, property law, trade. It had tons of different laws.
Yeah, what's the key principle?
The eye for the eye?
Yes.
Yes, but then it goes out to play those things out, and it does. Do you want to know what the Code of Honorary says on slavery?
Well, if it's the notion of the main principle of an eye for an eye, it would indicate that. Okay, that's
Okay.
how it would ideologically be used. Now, could they have said that they used aspects of Code of Hammurabi, but they didn't principally use it? Historically, that could have existed. So you could give historical examples where they use the Code of Hammurabi in most scenarios, not all.
Okay, all I'm saying is the Code of Hammurabi was much more forward for slavery and push slavery and what to do with slaves than the Old Testament. Anybody can look that up.
I don't see where you got that depiction.
The debate
so you would say that no, you're misunderstanding. Not in a principal sense. Not in a principal sense, right? You're talking in a specific sense where they would have aspects of it, right? But it is the case they didn't fully use it in a principled sense.
No, they fully used it in a principal sense.
Then that wouldn't make any sense. That was not that's not the. You just learned what the Code of Hammurabi is. Therefore, you wouldn't even be able to make that determination.
Okay. I was the one that brought up the Code of Hammurabi, so it's not like I just.
You didn't even know what it was. You had to look it up.
Follow along in this conversation. You're not being able to follow along.
I don't know. I
already looked it up.
You brought up the Code of Hammurabi, but you didn't even know what it was.
Okay, so I brought it up and talked about another. It's the other prominent law system during the Old Testament times. During the other. I
understand. So what you're thinking is that common law is always going to be used in the same way, meaning that it's always going to be principled whenever used, which is not true. The common law usage of the Code of Hammurabi was not always principally used. That's not the argument that I was providing. I'm saying in the principled mechanism of what the Code of Hammurabi was, that's what it indicates the way that you should respond to these types of circumstances.
Yes, but then the Code of Hammurabi listed out specific details about slavery, and you're trying to make it general, but it was very specific about slavery. And so this is a cop-out.
No, it's not a cop-out. It's literally just a description of what the Code of Hammurabi is.
Yes, but you're trying to make it generic when it's very detailed.
So again, it's context specific, sure.
Yeah, and the
I just said that.
Is
that not what I just said?
Generic is wrong from the context in the details. Anybody can look that up. I encourage people to go look it up.
What? I was making a description of the principled standpoint of the Code of Hammurabi. That's the point I was making. Okay, I'm gonna bring us back. Okay, so
all right, I'm ready.
Yeah. So your basis for why what's it called? You'd vote for Donald Trump is because of your particular religious views. I'll ask you this question: do you believe in separation of church and state?
Yes, I do believe in separation of church and state. I would probably categorize myself as a Christian nationalist, if you know what that means.
Yes, I do. So you believe in separation of church and state, but you're also a Christian nationalist. Typically, Christian nationalists would argue for no separation of church and state.
So separation of church and state would stop at theocracy. So there would be no separation of church and state, but theocracy is stronger than a Christian nationalist.
Well, typically, Christian nationalists would be seen as theocrats.
No, that's incorrect.
Well, that's at least my understanding. Maybe there's an understanding of Christian nationalism that I haven't seen. But
Christian nationalists still believe in freedom of religion. They still believe in what were we just talking about?
What does Christian nationalism mean?
Christian nationalism just means that we still believe in freedom of religion. We still believe in the Constitution of America. But it means that the government and the things run in the government should be very heavily leaning on making laws and rules that honor the morals and values, not the Christian religion, the morals and values of the Christian religion, not the dogma, not the doctrine.
What? The morals and values of the Christian religion. That's the same shit, dude. That's literally the exact same thing. So what you just showed is that you support not separation of church and state. You support the church specifically utilizing its morals and values to enforce that upon others.
But allowing freedom of religion.
Okay, so let's go through this, though. I don't think it's allowing freedom of religion if you're enforcing particular religious prescriptions on other people.
Yeah, so we wouldn't enforce it.
You are. That's exactly what you just said. You said you should enforce the moral laws. Okay, then I'll ask you this question. Answer this question. Do you think abortion should be illegal?
Yes, ultimately I do.
Why?
I do think right now I wouldn't fight for abortion being illegal. but I would fight for it being slowed down. Like, I'd be totally happy if we just made abortion only allowed for rape and incest. Would you be cool with that?
That's a fucking horrible take. I think that people should be able to get elective abortions. Absolutely. There's no reason to value it prior to the point of sentience. The fact that you'd be restricting people's bodily autonomy and rights over their own body for a non-sentient embryo is actually absurd.
Okay, so when
now let me explain further, and let me go further into this, right? You specifically believe that abortion should be illegal in those circumstances, in elective circumstances, because of your Christian views, correct?
Okay, I said no. That's incorrect. That's not a fair summary of my perspective.
Okay, so then what is the reason why you specifically think that abortion should be illegal in the first trimester in elective circumstances?
I do think life begins at conception. So when do you think life begins?
I believe life begins at conception, but we don't value cellular life. We value sentient life.
Okay, so you're okay with taking a life, but not sentience.
Yeah. Do you think
you'll take a life, but not sentience?
Yeah.
That's okay with you?
Yeah. Do you think it's murder to pull the plug on an individual in your family? That's
okay. So just get that clear. Parker said it's okay to take a life. Can you answer my question? But not sentience.
Yeah, cellular life. So, I mean, do you think it's wrong to like brush your teeth? There's microorganisms on your teeth, and you kill them when you brush your teeth. So let me address this now. In terms of specifically like life and reviewing sentient life, from a perspective of life, it would be, under your perspective, murder to pull the plug on an individual in your family that's brain dead because they have cellular life. Do you think that's
correct?
Murder?
So you would if they were going to wake, they were brain dead, but they were going to be alive in 8 months, you'd be able to pull the plug on them?
That means they're not brain dead.
They have no brain activity. But they could, and we have reason to believe they will have brain activity in 8 months.
That's a coma. That's different from brain death. Okay, so no brain activity in a coma. So my standard is past or present and future subjective experience. They meet the standard of past and future. Now, if you want to talk about brain dead individuals, they are cellularly speaking alive. Okay, can you address this point here, please? Right, because your value was cellular life or life at conception, do you think it's murder to pull the plug on an individual in your family that's brain dead?
I think that if it is you're making the thing is it's tough to answer your question because you're making some sort of distinction between brain dead and a coma, and so I need further clarification on that before I answer your question. Okay. So I answer correctly before you try to get me in some gotcha. This
isn't even a gotcha. This is just a basic point.
Yeah, I know, but like when you say brain dead, do you mean no? There's going to be no brain function, and for now, and we know from our studies and from science or doctors, they're going to say there's no chance of brain activity in the future, as far as we know. Is that your understanding of brain dead?
Neuroscience says that there's going to be no subjective experience in the future, that it's irreversible sensation of subjective experience. Then I would say you can pull. Can I please finish? I'm trying to explain this fully to you, but you're not letting me fully explain. Are they still cellularly alive? Yes. Do they still have a heartbeat? Yes. Can they still have some brain activity? Yes. But not enough brain activity to produce a subjective experience, and they never will have brain activity to the degree that they need in order to be able to have a subjective experience. So that's what medical doctors indicate to be the point of death, brain death, okay? So if you consider medical death to be brain death, well, then medical life begins at the beginning of sentience, not biological life from that perspective. So in terms of what we value, medical life, it would be the case that you value at 20 through 24 weeks in the womb when it develops subjective experience or the necessary aspects of the brain to produce a subjective experience.
Okay, so what I would say is if someone is brain dead and we know that they're going to be brain dead if we have a doctor or science saying that they're going to be brain dead for into the future, then yes, you can pull the plug on that person. But like a fetus, if we know they're going to have brain function in the future, predictably, then we cannot take that life.
So the reason why it would be okay in that connotation is because there's no established past or present subjective experience. So if you have an abortion, there would never have been an experience ever.
Yes, but predictably there will be an experience. So we can't pull the life on that. For example,
do you think it's wrong to pull out?
But that's like a coma. That's like a coma.
Can I ask you a question? Do you think it's wrong for me to pull out, given that you knew for a 100% fact that there would be a child if I do not pull out?
Oh, okay. Okay, say that again. You spoke so fast.
Yeah, would it be wrong, under your view, for me to pull out, given that I knew for a 100% fact that if I did pull out, there would be no kid, and if I did not pull out, that there would be a kid?
Yes, that would be wrong. I think if I understand that correctly, that would be wrong.
It'd be wrong to pull out? So you think it'd be wrong for me to revoke consent to sex?
I think, okay. See, that's what I was wondering. I thought, okay, you started talking about sex. No, see, I was completely misunderstood your question. Because I
under
thought you
your
were
view
still
there,
talking about,
if it would be wrong for me to pull out, it would be wrong for me to
you were
revoke
asking me
consent to
about
sex.
Christian nationalism. I
Wait,
told you
answer
where
my
I got my
question.
morals from. Where do you get your morals from?
We'll talk about that in a second. Can you address my point, and then we'll talk about that?
Okay, yeah, sure. Go ahead. What's your question?
Did you hear me? We just talked about it. What did I just say?
You talking about the pull out and the sex the pull out and the sex conversation?
If you knew for 100% fact that if I pulled out specifically there would be no child, and if I specifically didn't that there would be a child, you said it would be wrong for me to pull out. Well, then you just argued that it would be wrong for me to revoke consent to sex.
It's not wrong. It's not wrong for you to pull out, but there's no life in that scenario because the egg hasn't been fertilized.
So there's life in the context of the sperm cells that are living. Okay. So in the context of the scenario, think about it. Within the condition, listen. Within the condition, right? Thank you.
Listen, Linda.
Do I need to mute you? This is why I muted you earlier.
Well, I do consider that a win. So, but keep going.
I don't care if you do. You're still stupid. So in the condition, there's still cellular life in the context of the sperm cell, and there is a future subjective experience, given it is the case that it's on track, if you leave it up to the natural processes, that it will specifically lead to a baby in the future. Okay? So the context of what you brought up in terms of life and future subjective experience within a set of conditions is what would be you're granting for value.
Okay, you take that one now. Can you tell me where your morals come from?
Can he respond to my point? I will totally address your point there, but don't do that to deflect away from what I'm saying. That is dishonest, that is disingenuous, and is not fun to have a conversation with someone who won't even answer my questions because they realize that they lost the argument.
No, I answered all your questions.
No, you didn't.
And I'm happy to stay on the topic if you'd like to stay on the topic.
Yes, we will.
Okay, very well. I'm going to need you to repeat where you want to.
I need to repeat it again? Are you kidding me?
That is correct. You will need to repeat it again. And I'm willing to listen, and I'm willing to stay on the conversation.
So you admit that you weren't listening?
I was listening. You want me to summarize and go back through it?
Go ahead.
Okay, so you were talking about the sex and the pull out, or if you don't pull out, and I said that's not wrong because there's no life there. And so, because life begins at conception. That's the part I don't remember. That's the part
you didn't listen to. So sperm are cellularly living. So within the condition, if you leave the set of circumstances up to its natural occurrences, there is cellular life in terms of the sperm, and there's a future subjective experience and a baby in the future, because you know if you do not pull out that there will be a child in the future. So there's the active potential, and there's cellular life within the condition. You're
saying sperm has life?
Yes, sperm is living.
Okay. Well, sperm does not have life in the same way a fetus has life, or life is at conception.
Yeah, I never said it was. It was still cellular life.
And biologists don't agree with that.
Yes,
you're trying. You're using. Are you?
You think biologists say that sperm is not living?
Does sperm have life the same way you have life?
It's living in a cellular biological sense. No, it doesn't have the life in the same way that I do because I'm sentient. I have sentient life. There's different depictions of life: cellular life and sentient life. Do you understand the distinction?
Okay. Does a 1 week fetus, a 1 week old fetus, have the same life sperm does?
There is no 1 week old fetus. That makes no sense. It would be an embryo.
Okay. Life after conception for 1 week in the womb.
Cellular life at conception is no different than cellular life in sperm, right? Other than a depiction of DNA. That's it.
Okay, so 1 week, that's 1 day before they have brain function, sentience. That's no different than that life is no different than the life of sperm.
It is cellularly, biologically alive.
Yeah, I think this is crazy. That's true.
It's a fact. Are you denying facts? You're denying facts. Biologists indicate that it's living.
No. It's not biologists, and there's a study on this that point out biologists believe life, very specific life definition of life, beginning at conception. That's what biologists say.
Yeah.
The biologists are not going to say
the life beings. That does not
conception.
Mean. Holy
look
shit!
That
This guy, you have no clue what you're talking about. Look up on your fucking computer. Ask it. Look up on your computer. Is sperm living? Look it up right now.
Okay. If you'll give me a second, I'll be happy to do that. All right. You can go talk to your people.
Yeah, I will. Zay, thank you so much for the $10. Thank you so much, Zay. Can we get some W's for Zay in the comment section right now? Thank you so much. And then T-Sub, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $50 on YouTube Super Chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, T-Sub. I really appreciate it. Put some W's for T-Sub in the comment section right now. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. That's so kind of you. Thank you so much for the $50 on YouTube Super Chat. That is so kind of you. Heidi, thank you so much for the $1. Lance, thank you so much for the $1. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Dude, just give him a second, everyone. If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen. We should be on for 4 hours here for today, everyone. We've been on for a little bit less than an hour so far. Actually, we'll be a little bit less than 4 hours. It'll be like 3 hours and 45 minutes or something like that, but just letting everyone know.
All right.
DK, thank you for the $2 for biology here. Sperm is living.
All right, here we go. I'll read you the exact thing I phrased so someone can go do this themselves. I went on Grok, and I asked the question this exact way. Does sperm have life in the same way?
No, look up is sperm living. He can't do this. Can you look up is sperm living?
And then I said, be brief. This is what the answer it gave me. No, according to biologists, sperm does not have life in the same way as a fertilized egg.
What's the distinction?
Sperm and eggs are living haploid cells, I'm not sure what that is, produced by the parent's body with shortened lifespans and not independent development potential. That's the difference. No independent development potential as a new organism.
Neither
in contrast,
a zygote doesn't have that either.
This is according to biologists.
No, it doesn't.
You're disagreeing with AI.
No, it's because you're using Grok. You're using Grok. It's in a petri dish.
Oh,
if you keep a zygote.
Okay. I'd love to use Google.
Listen. Grok if Grok won't tell you this. In a petri dish, you have a fertilized egg in a petri dish. You leave it in that petri dish forever. It will die.
All right, this is great. You're disagreeing with Grok. All right, let's read Google Gemini. Same thing.
No. How about you ask the question? Ask this specific question. Is sperm living? If you don't ask that specific question, I'm going to kick you. Go to the next person. This is a waste of my time.
Oh, kick me. That'd be great.
I will. Okay? Now answer that. I don't care if you consider that a win. You're an idiot. I don't give a shit if you consider that a win or not.
You said you would answer my question. Where do you get your morals from?
Can you look up, is it living? That's the question I asked you. You dishonest fuck.
In the context... now, wow, crashing out. Okay.
It's true.
So I already asked that question, but you said you were going to answer my question about where morals.
Did you look it up? What did it say?
I did look it up, and it said no, according to biologists.
No, that's not what it said. Look up is sperm living.
Yeah,
it will tell you
that is
yes.
what it said.
You are a dishonest fuck.
So,
if you look it up right now, it will tell you that it's living. That you're just lying.
Okay,
you're
just go ahead and boot me. Okay, just go ahead and boot me. But
no,
do you,
because
do you want to answer the question about morals?
Hey, I will boot you.
Okay, so you won't boot me.
Listen.
I'll stay on, dude.
I'm going to keep you on because I want to be able to genuinely engage with you, but you're not actually doing so. If you continue to not truly try to engage in a productive dialogue with me, then I'm going to kick you, yes. That is not a win for you because you chose to not engage in a productive dialogue.
Okay, well, what would be a productive dialogue at this point? Maybe answering my question about where you get your morals from?
Answering my specific question. I will answer that. I told you I would answer that question as soon as we finish this, okay?
Yeah, you've said that 3 times.
Okay, I promise you I will. It's a meta-ethical question. There's no issue with that. Can you answer mine?
You want me to ask, just type in, is sperm living?
When you look up, is sperm living, what does it tell you?
I told you, it said no.
That's not what it says. You're lying. You want to bet. How much money do you want to put on this right now? That if I fucking Google it right now, it's going to tell me yes. You want to fucking bet on that right now?
Yeah.
Bet me on that.
If you word it I will say if you word it your
if I look up the specific words, is sperm living, what will it say?
It will not say it's living in the same way as a fertilized
Wow, that's not what I asked you. Will it say if I ask?
That's the part that matters.
This dishonest fuck. If I say that is it living, what will come up?
Okay, you can say it's dishonest as fuck all you want, but that's the part that matters.
Can you respond?
There's no reason to go further.
He can't do it to save his life. You dishonest piece of shit. Do it.
Okay. All right. Okay. You can keep saying that all you want. It doesn't mean much to me. Okay, but we've ended this. This conversation is going to keep going around in circles at this point.
I'm going to ask you one more time. You have one more time. When you look up, is sperm living?
I've already done that.
What does it say?
This is my one more time. All right, I've already said it.
Wait, does Grok say haploid life?
So either Parker, boot me or answer my question. I don't care which way you go.
Yeah, so you're not going to answer you're not going to engage with what I have to say in a genuine manner?
Boot me or answer my question. I don't care.
I will answer it, but I genuinely want. Will you address what I have to say after?
Yeah, we'll probably go around in circles, but yeah, I will.
Okay. So I get my morals from a description of my psychological preferences. Now that I've answered your question, when it specifically references it in Grok, does it say haploid life?
No. You've been talking to me a lot about abortion and other things, and you can't just answer my question and then pass over it. Okay?
Wait.
So you said your psychological preferences. That is a terrible way to get your morals from. Nobody can live that way with morals. And if all these people that follow you, you're all going to disagree, and you're not going to have the same.
What does this say? Can you read this? Can you read this? It's
got a terrible glare on the screen.
I'm sorry.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it. I forgive you. So anyways, like I said, it's
what does it say? Read it. Read it. Read it, you dishonest fuck. Read it, you dishonest fuck. Read it, you dishonest fuck. Read it.
Was Hitler and the Nazis wrong to kill people?
Yes, dude. Can you answer it? Can you read it? If you don't, I'm going to kick you. I'll give you 5 seconds.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for you to kick me or move on to the next person. Kick
you see how dishonest?
Answer my question. I'm totally ready for you to kick me.
I told you. I will engage with your points. I promise you. I will engage with them. But you have to actually productively engage with me. The fucking thing it says when you look it up.
It doesn't matter. Either way is fine. But I already engaged you. I didn't want.
No, you didn't. When you look it up, it says, yes, biologically, sperm is a living cell.
I enjoy it when you mute me. I actually find it quite entertaining. So
good. You have a humiliation kink.
You want to go around in circles, or you boot me, or do you want to answer my question about the psychological preferences?
Yeah, this is the last time I'm going to give you, and I'm actually genuinely going to kick you after this point if you do not acknowledge
I'm ready. I'm waiting for it.
When you look it up on Google, specifically, is sperm living? What does it answer?
Okay, I told you. We've already gone around in circles on this. I told you the answer to that is no. Now, I talked about morals, and you said it's your psychological.
Dude, what a dishonest fuck. Like, seriously, like, I gave him so long. So long to literally answer it and to address it in a meaningful sense, in a legitimate sense. But he chooses not to do it. Like, do you see how dishonest that is? Like, why do I have to engage with people like that? Like, what's the point of doing that? Like, I would have productively engaged and responded to all of the points you brought up if you actually just admitted when you were wrong. All you had to do was admit you were wrong. Like, seriously, that was so dishonest. Like, seriously, that was so fucked. I gave him so much time to change his mind and to literally acknowledge that he was wrong, but he couldn't do it to save his life. He was actually sinning, by the way. He was lying. He was literally lying, right? So he was pathologically sinning on the fucking stream. Can y'all hear me right now? Okay, I think it just stopped for a second. We should be fine. All right, let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. If you want to support me, as always, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, link tree in the bio, as well as the description of the YouTube, as well as you can support me over YouTube Super Chat, everybody. That guy was so dishonest. I really, so useless, dude. Engaging in conversations with people like that. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Let's get the next person up here real quick. So the next person, only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Hello? Alrighty, let's go on to the next person, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Let's go on to the next person here real quick. Alrighty. Alrighty, let's go on to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We're just looking for some...
Bro, you are not Dean Withers, bro. Stop doing this, bro. You are not Dean Withers. Stop.
How old are you?
18. Why?
What's your birth year?
2006, December 15th.
Okay, if you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for?
Bro, I'm not even a Trump supporter, bro. I'm just saying you're not Dean, bro.
Okay. Hey, dude, you know that I did this before Dean, and Dean's my best friend, you fucking idiot? Let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. I literally told Dean to do these streams, right? Right? Like, I literally told Dean to do these streams. Yo, what's up, how old are you?
Hello, I'm 43.
Do you support Donald Trump?
I do at the moment, yes.
Okay. If you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for?
So back in time, it would be Donald Trump.
Okay. With the level of information that you have right now, right?
Yeah. So look, I get it. Yeah. So he's not a great guy. I get that. I'm not a voter based on policy. I base my votes on kind of what I think is what's called the rubber band effect. So progression and regression can only move in one direction so far before it eventually snaps back to a certain degree. I think it's based on kind of the ecosystem of nature and the universe, and there's only so many things that can happen in one direction before there has to be a counterbalance. And if things move in one direction too far, either progression or regression, then things get out of balance.
Okay, so are you ideologically left or right?
I'm a centrist.
Okay, so okay, sure. I guess could you name like a policy of Trump's you like?
So again, I don't debate based on policy. I base my votes on what I think is the right balance. Again, so progression, regression can only move in one direction for so long before there has to be some form of balance.
Okay, what makes you think that Donald Trump brings more balance to our system?
So I think that as a whole population, right? So roughly 400 million people. There are people on both sides that have very, very kind of disparate views, kind of what they believe the moral values are that we should be living by. And if we move in one direction too far, we become unbalanced in those views, right? So, like for example, whether it's I can't say that one. So you have kind of this theocratic view on the right, and you have this kind of more human-based view on the left.
Can't hear you while you're out of the app. Cannot hear you. Catherine, thank you so much for the $20 on YouTube Super Chat. Put some W's for Catherine in the comment section right now. Thank you so much. Elida with the $10. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. DK, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you. Yeah, I'll try to look. Did he just leave? Hello, I can't hear you, man. He left. Okay, all right. Alrighty, let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everyone. Alrighty. Do give it a second. If you want to support me, as always, everyone, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Linktree in the bio, as well as the description of the YouTube, as well as you can support me over YouTube Super Chat. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
I'm 20.
Do you support Donald Trump?
I do.
What's your birth year?
2005.
Okay. And you said you're how old again?
20.
And what's your what month were you born?
September 22nd.
Okay. If you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for?
100% Trump.
Why so?
I mean, Kamala Harris, I wouldn't trust even being in a position of, semi-power. I don't love Donald Trump. I like him, but Kamala Harris, definitely no.
Why not?
I mean, when it comes down to just, first of all, her public image that she, uses to represent herself, I haven't found that to be something that I would be confident in as a leader whatsoever. She was a terrible negotiator when it comes to domestic policy. Foreign policy, I meant. Overall, yeah,
What makes you think that she was bad negotiator in terms of foreign policy?
I mean, she quite literally has not been able to stop, because she was sent as the delegate to go negotiate with Putin, and she completely failed that.
Has Trump done anything to fix that?
Yes, he has.
He has? Really? What has he done?
Trump has been involved in the Russian conflicts like nonstop.
What has he done to prevent it from happening?
He took tons of sanctions on Putin.
He put sanctions on Putin. So did the Biden-Harris administration.
Sorry, what was that?
So did the Biden-Harris administration.
Oh yeah, I'm aware.
So
But when it
what's
comes
unique
to
to
actually
Trump
dealing with him straightforward, I mean, Trump did a way better job at that.
by doing what?
Just showing him that we are the United States of America. We have the biggest military in the world,
Wow.
and we're not to
Putin
be.
did not know that if Kamala Harris were the president? Really?
Well, yeah,
Really?
I don't think
he
did,
thought that
because
America
if you-
didn't have the largest military in the world when the Democrats were in office? Really?
Yeah, I don't think he did.
Wow, dude. Putin must be an idiot.
No, I don't think so. Because
Really,
he would have
dude?
been right.
What changed about the military budget between the Democrats and the
No,
Republicans?
no, not the military budget. The way that it's enforced.
So we had the strongest military in the world under either administration. You're just lying.
Yes, we still have the strongest military. We don't have the means to use it under the Democratic Party.
Yes, we did. That's a ridiculous
No.
statement. Because
No,
we
we
funded
didn't,
and
because the
defended
Democratic-
Ukraine to a great extent. Now, you're saying that Donald Trump, if he weren't to be in the political office in 2022, you're telling me that it is the case that there wouldn't have been a Russia invasion of Ukraine? What tells you that?
I don't think so. No.
What
Do
tells you
see-
that?
Bro, listen. All right, listen. Trump, I'm not going to say he's amazing. I'm not saying, Trump's like our Lord and Savior here. But when it comes to dealing with foreign policy, he is not afraid to do anything when it comes to, dealing with other people, keeping them in check.
So,
He
again, what would
shows
he have
his balls
done
all
if
the
he were
time.
in that circumstance to prevent Russia from invading Ukraine?
He would have told them that, if you invade Ukraine, well, of course, I don't know exactly what he would have told them, but he would have certainly, put his foot down and not just sat there and been like, we're going to slap
Put his
sanctions
foot
on you.
put his foot down by doing what? You just said the one thing he did that was good was slap sanctions on him, and then you just said it was bad that
Well,
they
you're telling
slapped
me-
sanctions on them. Like, what are you talking about?
I'm just saying, you're asking me what he would do. I don't know what he would do because I'm not the leader
Then
of the
how do you
country.
know
I'm
that
not
he would be
Trump.
better with dealing with Russia? That's just an assumption that you have.
Because he's always been better at dealing with foreign policy.
That's an
Always.
assumption. Wait,
It's
what?
not an
No, I think
assumption.
he's been worse with dealing with
The
foreign
world-
policy.
The world has been more at peace when it comes to Trump's presidency than under Joe Biden nonstop.
Really, really, what tells you that?
The wars that were going on in the world when Joe Biden was president, the
Such as?
nonstop conflict, such as? You're asking like which?
Yeah,
Um,
which ones are you
wars were going
referencing?
So first of all, of course, Ukraine. When Joe Biden was president.
Ukraine is still
Um,
like at war.
Yeah, I know, but it started under Joe Biden. Of
Okay,
course.
but that doesn't mean it was caused by Joe Biden.
It wasn't. No, it wasn't caused by Joe Biden. He just did a
Okay.
terrible job. At
So what would Trump have done to stop that from happening? If you can't tell me anything, then that's total speculation.
Speculation, yes,
Yes.
it is because it didn't happen.
Just because it didn't happen doesn't mean that it wouldn't have happened in this circumstance. That's a ridiculous standpoint to make.
I don't think it's ridiculous to
Like
trust
for example,
somebody else
the
that's doing this.
14.8% unemployment that happened under Trump's administration. Just because it happened under Trump, we're gonna blame him, right?
No, I'm saying that.
Wait,
it's
wait,
not-
wait, but it happened under his administration.
Yes, and I'm saying I would trust him with foreign. We're talking about foreign policy here. I would trust
Oh, like
him with
bombing
foreign policy.
fishermen
Wait,
boats off of
are people
Venezuela.
saying misogyny in here? That's hilarious.
I don't know why you're reading a random comment in the middle of our conversation. What a weirdo.
Yeah, I just looked down. I thought it was pretty fun. It's not normal to see what the
No,
crowd of
because you're
people
not the
are
host
saying.
of the stream.
Oh,
Do you think
okay.
you're hosting the stream?
hosting? Absolutely not.
Yeah, so why would you just read a random comment middle conversation?
You're saying it's a big problem to read a comment. Okay.
Yes, it genuinely
Yeah,
is.
thank you.
So why don't you hold on the screen, click clear display. Can you do that for me, please?
Yeah, sure. I'll do it right now.
For sure. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
Sure.
So yeah, I think that Donald Trump is imposing a greater level of war, especially in the context of bombing fishermen boats, specifically off the coast of Venezuela, right? Like bombing Iran, right? Like placing tariffs on countries around the entire world, causing trade wars.
Yes, I don't support all of the tariffs that he placed. I liked that he was willing to stand up for the United States because in many cases we were certainly losing out in trades, but he certainly went overboard with that. I don't agree with all of his tariffs.
Okay, so you're telling me he's better with foreign policy. I gave you multiple examples of him being worse with foreign policy. Would you like to give me any examples of him actually doing something that would be better in terms of foreign policy rather than just saying he's better?
When it comes to securing our country, that's fantastic. I mean,
In what
not
way?
letting
Inciting a violent
not
insurrection of the
letting
Capitol?
the violent insurrection of the Capitol. Don't get me started on that.
We can, because that's definitely securing the country, right?
I don't think so, and that's not foreign
Okay.
policy.
So then what would be the specific thing that you're referencing?
Well, I would say first of all that when it comes to letting people in the country, you know, that definitely counts as foreign policy because, you know, he's been protecting the United States much better than the Joe Biden administration did.
Immigration policy is domestic, not foreign policy. Foreign policy
okay,
is dealing
well-
with other countries and their governments
Well, yes,
diplomatically.
but it could also, correct me if I'm wrong, could it also tie into foreign? Because when you negotiate with other countries and just deal with other countries.
Well,
to
then you would have to
prevent
give us a
what
specific
actually happened.
example of him engaging in foreign policy that affected the level of immigration.
Okay. When he sent people into Mexico, troops into Mexico to deal with the cartels because they've been sending drugs nonstop over here.
When did he drop troops into Mexico?
When?
Yeah, when did he send U.S.
I'd
troops
have
to
to look that
Mexico?
up. I would have to look that up.
And you would support him sending U.S. troops to Mexico
Yes.
to fight the cartel? Okay. So you would literally
Well,
support
to
him declaring
prevent the
war on the
cartel.
cartel. So you want more war.
More war? No. I want
That's
our country
that's
to be safe.
you just said that he should start a war.
That
You just said he
essentially
should
wouldn't be a
invade
war.
Mexico.
Invade Mexico? No.
That's what you just said.
No, it was not an invasion.
What? You just said that
Mexico-
we should send troops who fight the cartel in Mexico. That's invading Mexico.
Okay, many parts of Mexico are on board with that. It's not Mexico is not just one.
Well, what part of
united-
Mexico said that they want the U.S. to come in?
I would have to look that up.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, but what I want to know, what parts of Trump do you dislike the most?
He was held civilly liable of sexual abuse. He bragged about walking into the changing rooms of naked women while they're changing without their consent, where an 18-year-old came out and said there were 4 girls as young as 15 years old in these changing rooms where Donald Trump would barge in without their consent. He said he would date a 10-year-old girl in 10 years. He called his daughter voluptuous, which means curvy and sexually attractive. Said he had a Howard Stern calling his daughter a piece of ass. Said he had sex in common with his daughter and said he'd be dating his own daughter if it wasn't his daughter. He passed the big, beautiful
Okay.
bill, which cuts 420,000 children off of free school lunch and breakfast on average every single month. 2.5 million people on average every single month off their food stamps, and over 10 million people off the access to health insurance, while adding $3.4 trillion to the debt. He called for a complete and total shutdown of Muslims entering the country, called for the termination of all rules, regulations, and articles, even those found in the Constitution, and has violated people's First Amendment rights, Second Amendment rights, Fourth Amendment rights, Fifth Amendment rights, and 14th Amendment rights. And he's actively advocated to violate the 22nd Amendment.
Okay, would you like to give some examples of how he's, taken people's rights away?
Yeah, so specifically, they've engaged through ICE in violating people's Fourth Amendment rights by not providing them search and seizure, specifically like the laws associated with that in terms of privacy, where they specifically have not been identifying themselves, they've not been providing warrants, they have not been covering themselves with masks, which are not reading people their Miranda rights, which is all things you have to do in the context of arresting people, detaining them in the context of the United States, given that they've committed a crime. Right? That's one example. We can also give another example in terms of Donald Trump passing an executive order that says if people burn the American flag, they'll be put in prison for a year for burning the American flag, which has been determined by the Supreme Court to be protected by the First Amendment because it's symbolic speech.
Yes, but however, that was only when it comes to burning flags in crowds, because it incites violence and riots.
No, it was burning flags in general.
Well, maybe he attempted to do that, but from what I saw, which, a lot of this, I know you're more well-versed when it comes to all the specifics, but when I, did my own research on the whole American flag thing, I saw that he was talking about within crowds, how it incites violence in crowds.
Okay, so if you have an issue with incitement of violence, well, then Donald Trump incited a violent insurrection at the Capitol where he pardoned violent rioters who beat police officers and he called them patriots. Do you think pardoning violent rioters who beat police officers on January 6th and calling them patriots, right, is going to incite or decrease violence?
I don't support some of the people that he pardoned, but I do think overall that the sentences that were given were extremely unfair. There were new lengths of terms that were given to people that were at the January 6th.
Yeah, we're talking about violent rioters, and we're specifically talking about the people who assaulted police officers, right? And in that
Well,
circumstance, do you think that say they were given too long of a charge, right? Then they would they wouldn't get a pardon. They would get a commuting of their sentence,
yeah, and I don't
which
think
they didn't do. They
there were a few
pardoned them.
people. There were a few people who were like QAnon, like leader type people who were there to incite violence. But generally speaking, it's much overprojected saying that it was a very violent thing because it was not. There were a few, terrible things that happened, and I don't support the people who were violent. But generally speaking, the vast majority of people that were there were.
There's like 140 people that assaulted police officers. So in those circumstances, and committed violence. So in those circumstances, do you think that any of them should have been pardoned?
No, I don't believe that.
So given
the
that Donald
people-
Trump did pardon them, and he also called them patriots, do you think that incentivizes or disincentivizes violence in this country?
Did he call those people specifically patriots? That
Yes.
yes. The ones that assaulted. I highly doubt he said people who assaulted police officers are patriots.
He called the people who he pardoned patriots, which includes violent rioters.
And is there proof that they were all violent?
I never said all of them were violent. What?
Okay,
I
well,
said
ge-
140
generally
people.
Like I said, I feel like a lot of those charges were fraudulent.
No, the charges were fraudulent, even though they admitted to it themselves. They were convicted of it. They're on video doing it. The officer testified that it was specifically them who did it. You think the officer's lying? You think the jury system is lying? You think the video's lying? You think the person who did it themselves is lying because they admitted it themselves?
I believe that many of those people, first of all, a guilty plea doesn't necessarily mean that someone actually did something, but
Well, they still
I
admit
believe
it to this day.
okay, well, many of those people that physically assaulted a police officer did something like that. I don't support them. I don't think that Trump should have pardoned them or called them patriots if he did.
So does that increase or decrease violence in this country for him to do that?
No, yeah, I would say that if he's calling people who, hurt police officers patriots, that is a not a good look for him. But
Does that increase or decrease violence in the country?
I wouldn't say that it does either necessarily directly.
Really, pardoning violent rioters who beat police officers on January 6th and calling them patriots, that's not going to incentivize more crime or violence?
I mean,
Or political violence towards others? Like, come on.
I don't know. I would have had to have seen.
If Democrats
the-
pardon violent rioters who beat police officers during the BLM protests, would you specifically say that they were inciting or disincentivizing violence?
I don't think that there would be an incentivization of violence.
Really?
if they were doing-
You don't think if they pardoned violent rioters who beat police officers and they called them patriots, you don't think that would be inciting violence?
Well, okay. If they called them patriots specifically for beating protest or yeah, I do believe that.
So then in that circumstance, the exact same circumstance whereas it was with Trump would be inciting of violence, but with
A large
Trump doing it,
portion
it's
of
not incitement of violence. Under
A
your
large
view?
portion of the country believes that Joe Biden did not win the election.
Who do you think won the 2020 election?
I do think No, I don't believe he won the 2020 election.
You think Joe Biden lost it?
I do.
Okay, so what evidence do you have that Joe Biden lost the 2020 election and Donald Trump won?
Well, first of all, there were tons of ballots that were thrown out. There were tons of, and yes, there were proven ballots that were thrown out. It's not just speculation.
Where?
Do you want me to pull up Google real quick and find a specific...
Because there were audits in every single swing state. None of them indicated sufficient evidence to overturn the election. 60-plus court cases indicated no sufficient evidence to overturn the election. So I wonder what you're talking about. What is this evidence that none of the courts have seen?
Oh shoot, my phone's about to die. Well, I can say I'm not as well versed in the specific politics as you are. I still don't believe a lot of the things that you said are exactly correct, but my phone is about to die, so it was nice talking.
Sure. All right. Have a good night.
Have a good one.
Let's go to the next person. Everybody, only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen. It will help get it out to more people, everybody. We are in New York right now, everyone. Just letting everyone know for the next few days. I'll leave the 27th, so we should be here for the next few days. I'll be streaming. I actually don't know if I'll be live tomorrow. I'll keep everyone updated. I might actually take tomorrow off. I'll keep everyone updated on that, though. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Hey Parker, I am 39, but I wanted to just say
Do you support Donald Trump?
I think fans would love to be able to talk to you guys on another stream that agree with you.
Well, I appreciate you very much. I do appreciate that. Every once in a while, I do a Q&A if I have time. Oftentimes, I don't, though. And I know that people would love to talk to me, especially people who like my content and stuff like How old are you? Okay, let's go on to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen. It'll help get it out to more people. Only send a guest request again if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen, everybody. Let's get the next person up here real quick. Civic and election integrity for the last guest. That's unfortunate. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Hello?
How old are you?
18.
Do you support Donald Trump?
I do, yeah.
Okay, if you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for?
Donald Trump.
Okay, what's your birth year?
2007.
Okay, and what month?
June.
Okay, why so? Why do you support Trump?
Well, it's mainly why I don't support the left and the whole BLM movement is bullcrap. I think that when you support LGBTQ and that whole movement and trans and changing your gender, I think that's a mental illness that you have. I think a lot of the left, the criteria that you guys fall under is just all unmoral, and it's a publicity stunt, I think, and it's sickening to see what the left has come to, and truly America, how we are so divided now, and that violence has come to be.
You just cut out. Hello? He just left. Why did he just leave, bro? I was about to respond to that. That was so stupid. What was that person? YouTube. Go over to my YouTube. It shouldn't be lagging on YouTube. I apologize, everyone. I'm in New York. I'm not at my normal place. I really do apologize, everyone. What was their name? Easton? Okay, I'll look up for Easton. YouTube, is it lagging at all? Alrighty. Let's go on the next person here real quick. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. It's good. YouTube Mogs, based. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Hey Parker, I'm 25.
Do you support Donald Trump?
Yeah, I do.
What's your birth year?
2000, April 30.
And you said you're how old again?
25.
Okay. And if you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for?
I'd rather vote for Donald Trump, but I didn't vote for Donald Trump.
Okay, that's fine. So why would you?
Honestly, like one of the previous guests said, Kamala Harris really didn't do much during her vice presidency, and Donald Trump did quite a bit in 2016, and he promised quite a bit for this term.
What did he do in 2016 that you like?
Well, there were several things. I mean, the whole thing was with Donald Trump is he was actually the person that was advocating for a better economy, more jobs. There was a list of things that he did that kind of, pissed people off and turned against him. But, when he first came in 2016, he ended the, what was it? Trade deals to defend the American workers. He withdrew from the Trans-Pacific Partnership. A lot of people said that was bad. He ended the NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement. And instead of people focusing on the new one, which was I think it was United States, Mexico, and Canada agreement, people were all like, "Oh no, he ended the NAFTA. It's so bad." But the new one contained new powerful protections for like American manufacturers, right? I, as a business owner who imports, actually it kind of hurt me when I work with Mexico, but it also helped me, right? With the automakers, the manufacturers, the dairy producers, workers, farmers, and it actually generated more than what, like $100 billion in economic activity, made like what, 1 million new jobs.
Few things here. The USMCA that you just said was so good, Donald Trump undermined that by actually increasing tariffs on Canada and Mexico when he first got in office here in 2025. He said he's better for the economy and better for jobs. Actually, since Trump has got in office, unemployment has increased. We've also seen the jobs report become so bad that he fired the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, claiming that the information was politically biased. Push the Galaxy, thank you so much, because he couldn't believe it was so bad. And then he put someone else new into that position, and they indicated even less jobs for the next month comparative to the previous one. And if you look and compare the new jobs every single month right now comparative to what it was under Biden a year ago, it was about 7 to 10 times more under Biden about a year ago.
Right. But then, during his presidency, didn't the unemployment rate fall like, what, like a 50 to a 70-year low? But then COVID came and then screwed everything up. And then just to pivot a little bit, like under Biden, his presidency, like the Palestine-Israel war started. I believe the Ukraine war started during his presidency as well. Not to say it's his fault, obviously it's not, but the power that America had under Biden was significantly undermined by foreign leaders. I mean, just to pivot a little bit from the economy and the jobs and all that, but I mean, with the jobs that the unemployment rate falling so much before COVID, he was actually pretty successful right before COVID.
Yeah, so one, that was prior to COVID. Two, since Trump has got in office, we've seen unemployment increase. You just completely ignored that. You also completely ignored the decrease in the jobs numbers comparative to what we've seen previously. That's because of Donald Trump's imposition of tariffs. And then the 50-year unemployment rate that happened under the Trump administration in 2019, that specifically also happened under the Biden-Harris administration, 3.4%, even lower than the 3.5% that existed under the Trump administration. And those in 2 separate months.
Mm-hmm. I mean, in January 2017, what was, I think, like when Biden took office, it was what, like 5%, 4%?
On what? Unemployment?
The unemployment rate.
It was 6.4%.
6.4%. And was that due to Trump's presidency? And is that a low number?
It was due to Trump's presidency under COVID. So that specifically is more or less related to COVID. Because
right,
unemployment hit 14.8% under Trump.
And then like February of 2020, right before COVID, I think the rate was like sub 3.5%, right? Like lowest.
Yeah, I already said that.
Yeah, so it was pretty much from 6% to 3.5. I mean, the numbers don't lie, right? And I believe like since
wait, 6.4% was when Biden took over in 2021.
6 point.
What was
yeah,
it?
yeah.
So what was it when he took over in 2017? It was 4.7.
So okay, 4.7. That's when Trump got in, right?
Yeah, to 3.5.
To 3.5.
And under Biden, it went from 6.4 to 3.4.
Right. Both presidents did well, right? You can't argue like 3% decrease under Trump is actually a big deal. 3% decrease
That's
under
not
Biden.
3%. I'm sorry, what?
6.7
minus 3.5. That's 1.2.
I thought you said it was 6.5. Okay, my bad.
It was 6.4 when Biden took over in 2021.
Okay, got you. Okay. I mean, still, 3.5%, that's a pretty low number. It's pretty hard to go under that number. I do believe that Biden did really well after COVID and during COVID to get that number down. But like, you can't say like, oh, why do you support Trump? He's bad for the economy. He's bad for jobs. He's bad for the U.S. Job market. The tariffs, understandably,
I can't say that. He is bad for the job market. He is bad for the economy.
Right?
What?
But why is he bad for the economy?
Tariffs.
If he was
global tariffs.
Yeah, this presidency, obviously the global tariffs hit. His whole point is, oh, we're doing this for the long term for America, right? We're going to create jobs. We're going to make manufacturers in America stronger. I mean, that all of that is a very long-term play, which he shouldn't have made, right? And he has, backed off of China. That's a pretty, he doesn't have a backbone for doing that. That's a pretty weak thing to do. He's done several things that shouldn't have been done. He said several things that shouldn't have been done. But I do believe that under Trump, there are a lot of things like, what there's another thing that I wanted to mention in 2016, besides the trade agreements and everything, the deregulations, right? He ended the regulatory, what was it? I don't remember the exact name for it, but instead of for the 2-for-1, they eliminated the 8 old regulations for every one you adopted, right? He provided like an extra $3,100, $3,500. I don't know exactly what the number was for the average American household. 25,000 pages from the federal registers were removed. That's more than any other president. I don't know how many.
You have to mention specifically what regulations you got rid of that you agree with, just because getting rid of regulations is not a good thing. You'd have to specify what regulations they are.
Yeah, I mean I don't know if what was it? The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, the largest tax reform package in history, right? More than like 7 to 10 million Americans received wage increases,
No,
bonuses.
what specific? I asked you a question. Did you hear my question?
What was your question?
What specific deregulatory policy? Because you just said that he engaged in the most deregulations. Well, just because a deregulation occurred doesn't mean that that's a good deregulation. There are plenty of regulations on the books that are incredibly important and lead to better benefits in our society. So explain to me what specific one.
Honestly, I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you exactly what specific one. That's a talking point. I can't go into specifics. I have no real knowledge on that. I don't want to talk out of my ass.
Okay. So I can say that Trump is worse for the economy, and I can point to particular reasons as to why that's the case. The ones I brought up are not the only things that I can bring up. Inflation has increased since Trump has imposed tariffs in April. It's gone from 2.3% to 2.9%, and it's actually estimated right now to be at 3.1%, but we don't know for sure because of the fact that the government is on shutdown, because the Trump administration can't get their shit together to get people to come together and actually come to a deal. Republicans aren't even showing up to work.
Right, of course. Yeah, that's a huge thing. And I'll tell you this, look, this whole EBT, food stamps being taken away in November because of the shutdown, him blaming the Democrats for the shutdown, him making AI videos of shitting on US citizens, all of it is boiling up to a point where it's pretty damn bad, I'm not going to lie. Like, nobody's going to sit here and argue like, oh, Trump is going to save us from all this bullshit that he's doing. But I would say, I would not agree with you saying, he was bad for the economy in 2016, right? I did say I didn't vote for him. 2016 to
2017.
Yeah, right. Like 2016 elections, 2017 to 2021. The whole thing is when the first term, when he signed the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, like I mentioned recently, huge. It was huge for Americans, right? Like I said, 6 to 10 million workers received wage increases. It went from 2,000. What was it?
Kamala Harris wants to keep the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act for income earners under $400,000 a year, and then get rid of the tax cuts for income over $400,000 a year, and then use that money to reduce the debt.
Right, but then for families that were earning around 50 to 60,000 under Trump, they received a tax cut of more than $4,000. Am I right on that?
It definitely wasn't $4,000. That I don't know where you got that number from. But again, all the tax cuts from the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act would exist under Kamala Harris's plan for income earners under $400,000 a year. And actually, taxes will be higher for those $50,000, $60,000 a year income earners because Donald Trump has imposed tariffs on top of that comparative to Kamala Harris, who would not have imposed tariffs. So that would cause the prices to go up.
But he also remember he doubled the child tax credit. He doubled the standard deduction.
Kamala Harris wants, again, all of these things you're talking about for income earners under $400,000 a year would be the same. For the child tax credit in specific, Kamala Harris wanted to make that even larger. So instead of $2,000, right, changing it to $6,000 for the first year of a child's life, $3,600 through them being 5 years old, and then $3,000 through them being 18. So that is a massive increase in the child tax credit comparative to Trump's plan.
Right, it is definitely, yeah. But at the end of the day, he also, what was it? The death and estate tax. He eliminated that, which was bullshit tax. It was a good thing.
He didn't eliminate the death and estate tax.
Well, he fought against it. I don't know if he succeeded at fighting against it, but I know he did fight against it.
Okay, I don't know what you're talking about. So again, for income earners under $400,000 a year, Kamala Harris would have kept all of the tax cuts, and actually you would have less in taxes under a Kamala Harris administration if you make under $400,000 a year. If you make over $400,000 a year, you'll pay a slightly higher tax rate, which I'm okay
Right.
with. I have no issue
Right.
with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that too. I don't know what, like, touching on the wars and everything that's going on, foreign and domestic. Obviously, the foreign. At the end of the day, this whole new ceasefire, which isn't obviously going to be a long-term thing. It's not a peace deal. I'm not giving them credit for a peace deal, but the ceasefire, a lot of left-leaning spokespeople and a lot of left-leaning media people, they were saying, if Trump does this, I'll put a MAGA hat on and come on The View, this and that, And when it did happen, everybody was quiet.
Who said that?
He did. Some lady on The View. You could look it up, but she said, I'll put a MAGA hat on.
Why are we even talking about this?
Well, I'm just saying,
The ceasefire was broke.
It was broke, right? But he did attempt to make a ceasefire. He was successful at, getting the ceasefire done.
Nope, he wasn't. The ceasefire has been broke.
It has been broke. That's because of Israel and Palestine, right? It's not because of
so
Donald.
you can't say that Trump got the deal done if they didn't get the deal done.
I mean, he did start the process. He did get a ceasefire for, like, I don't know how long it was, but he did get it.
Did not
he did get the
stand up.
dialogue started, right? And then
there was a ceasefire deal under Biden too, but you understand that you don't say that was a ceasefire because it didn't uphold.
It did not. Yeah, it did. Unfortunately, it did not.
So then why do we only say this for Trump, but we don't say this for?
I'm not.
Biden?
We're not. I'm not saying Biden was a bad president. I'm not saying that Biden was a bad person. But right now we're saying why would you vote for Trump? What are the positives? He is attempting to broker a ceasefire. So did Biden, right?
And he did so at a later date comparative to Biden. Biden was advocating for a ceasefire earlier.
Yeah, but you know what else? Republicans can say. They can say, "Oh, you know what? The war did start under Biden." Not that it matters, but that is something you can claim. What else? When you said he didn't do anything to try to end the war between Ukraine and Russia, man, like Putin flew out to Alaska to have that meeting. Obviously, nothing happened, but the attempts were made. I honestly.
Do you think that Democrats aren't attempting? Do you think that they just
Of course
aren't
they're
attempting?
yeah.
So, by the way, if
Yeah.
you're saying that Trump is going to be better for peace, then why is he bombing countries around the world? Why is he bombing boats of fishermen?
Which
right?
country
Where there
is
was
he
no
bombing?
evidence. For example, he bombed 4 different boats off of the coast of Venezuela, right? And it is
Right.
the case that there was no evidence they were drug boats.
Well, but Venezuela also waged a war against the U.S., right?
When did Venezuela wage a war against the United States?
Well, didn't Maduro say, like, hey, like, this is going to be full-scale war against Trump?
No, they did not indicate a war against Trump. And by the way, these are fishermen, right? There's no evidence they had drugs, by the way.
They're quote-unquote drug smugglers, but yeah.
No, there was no evidence that they had drugs. And say they did have drugs, wouldn't we detain them once they get to U.S. waters? Why would we
Of
bomb and
course.
murder them? That makes no sense.
Of course, 100%, right? That's terrible. But again, the whole point is for Trump doing that isn't like, hey, we're going to murder civilians. It's like, hey,
It is.
we're not
It
going to
literally
allow.
was murdering civilians.
Is that what he claimed, though?
Wait, but they don't claim that they were civilians, but they don't actually show any evidence to Congress that they specifically did have drugs, which is what they are required to do. They are required to provide that evidence to Congress.
I mean, I can't say anything more than what I said because I'm not well versed on that. I believe you're right. But at the end of the day, it wasn't like, hey, we're going to bomb the shit out of these people because we just want to. Their claim was, hey, like, these people are smuggling drugs. We are.
They weren't, though. Say they were. That's still not a reason to murder them. Still not a reason to murder them.
It's not a reason to murder them, right?
Say they had drugs, right? That does not mean we fucking bomb them. We drone strike them. 1, they're in international waters. They're not in U.S. waters, so not our jurisdiction.
Right.
2, once they get into U.S. waters, we can detain them, and the drugs wouldn't even be allowed into the United States because we have drones on them, knowing exactly where they're going to show up in U.S. waters. As soon as they do, we can detain them.
Right,
There's no reason to extrajudicially drone strike their boats. Literally no reason.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like I said, the reason that they're claiming, I would have to look it up on Google exactly word for
There
word.
is no justification. Genuinely, there is no justification.
What is Trump's defense? Like, not his personal
They
defense.
just claim that they had drugs. They claim that they were going to deal drugs. But even if that's true, that doesn't mean you murder them.
Right. You're right. Of course. Yeah. Point taken. Fair. But on the other side, what was that war? It was in Africa. I don't remember exactly which countries that he supposedly ended. Armenia versus Azerbaijan, 30 years long. That ended. Obviously,
they didn't really
it
indicate.
didn't end, but
Trump is just taking credit for everything. Like seriously, at this point, this is so ridiculous. Like what does he actually get credit for? What did he do to cause this?
Well, look, he sat, Pashinyan and Aliyev, the prime minister of Azerbaijan and the president of Armenia, or vice versa, whatever. They sat down and they said, "Hey, like this has been a 30-year ongoing war from the Soviet times, right? Nobody's been able to sit us down. We are, sworn enemies, bitter enemies. Trump was the only one that was able to sit us down, besides for Putin, who actually aggravated the situation worse, and said, hey, we're going to sign this deal, 99 years. We're going to make this passage through from Azerbaijan to their exclave, and we're going to allow Armenia and Azerbaijan
Where
to
did
cross."
you get this information from?
Well, this was all documented. It was all televised. This was a
Really?
huge
From
deal.
where? From where? What was this? Because I
Onion
can
News?
show you videos of foreign leaders laughing at Trump, saying that like he didn't
Well,
really have anything to do with this, and he just takes credit for it.
Well, it was a huge thing, though, and they're going to name that road from
But that doesn't mean
Azerbaijan.
Trump did it. That doesn't mean Trump caused it.
Well,
Trump taking
Trump is
credit
the one
for it
who
does not
sat
mean it's
them-
true.
Well, yeah, but he sat them down. He's the one. Those three sat at a table and signed that deal all together, passing the treaty.
That doesn't mean he did
to each
anything to
other.
cause that. Like if the Democrats were in office, what makes you think that this would have been any different?
Because the Democrats had the opportunity to do this. Biden was actually, working.
So why didn't
towards
Trump
it.
do this under his first term?
Because there was nothing to do. The 2020 war happened in 2020, end of
Well,
2020.
I thought you said it was going for the past 30 years. That's what you said.
It has been, but the last.
Wait, so if it's been going for the last 30 years, then Trump's first administration, you could have done that.
Look, the last actual, like the battles, the conflicts, the wars that start in this time of tension, the 30 years since 1991, I think is 34 years now. It's like this: 1991, there was a huge war between them. 2016, there was skirmishes. 2020, a huge war, 44
Where
days
did you
long.
read all of this? You're just going to say it was reported on where?
Any news channel, us.am, any Armenian news channel, US news channel, CNN, New York Times, Washington Post. You could look any of them
You're
up.
just claiming. Can you give me like a title maybe? I'll give you time to look it up.
You know what? Yeah, I'll tell you right now.
All right, let me say thank you to a few people. Ken, thank you so much for the $10 on Venmo. Thank you so much, Ken. Lindsay, thank you so much for the $10 as well. Can we get some W's for Lindsay in the comment section? Jordan with the $20. I really appreciate it, Jordan. Can we get some W's for Jordan as well in the comment section right now? Thank you. Courtney, thank you for the $3. Thank you. Ava with the $5. Thank you so much.
Okay.
They are just going to talk about it right now. We don't know quite yet, so I'm going to wait to determine what my thoughts are quite yet, Ava. Christopher, thank you so much for the $5. And Shauna, thank you for the $4.20. Thank you so much. Anne with the $20. Thank you so much, Anne. I really appreciate it. It's so kind of you. Thank you for the kind words. W's for Anne in the comment section right now as well. Thank you. And Brian with the $25 on Cash App. Thank you so much, Brian. I really appreciate it. And Autumn, thank you for the $2. The camera quality is because I'm in New York on my laptop.
Whenever you're ready.
Go ahead.
All right. So Reuters, I don't know exactly how credible their sources are.
Reuters, good with the title.
Reuters says Azerbaijan, Armenia published text of U.S. brokered peace deal. This was on August 11th of this year.
What was the title? Azerbaijan and what?
Azerbaijan, Armenia published text of U.S. brokered peace deal.
Publish
And let me pull up the 2020.
text. Reuters. Okay. And where in this are you referencing? DK, thank you for the $5. Thank you.
So
Yes, he did claim it was Albania.
Yeah, he did. That was ridiculous. Honestly, that was the dumbest shit ever. Tiflis, Baku, August 11, Reuters, Armenia, Azerbaijan, policy, U.S. broke the peace agreement on Monday, pledging to respect each other's territorial integrity and formally put an end on nearly 4 decades of conflict. The peace deal was struck in Washington last Friday when Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev and Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan met with U.S.
Wait, so if
Donald
it's 4 decades of conflict, why couldn't he do it in his first administration?
I mean, yeah, fair. Obviously, everybody would say, why didn't you?
So then the same point you just made about the Biden-Harris administration is that they didn't get it under their administration. You could say to Trump as well. So
Well, yeah,
if
of
the
course.
Biden-Harris administration had another 4 years, would they have got it?
Maybe they would. And honestly, if they did, awesome. But you know what? Right now, Trump did it, and credit to him for doing it. I can't take anything away from him for doing it. And it's honestly, the less people that are dead, the better it is. I don't care if it's Biden, I don't care if it's Trump, but Trump did get to it. The thing is, look, Biden actually did a huge thing for Armenia. He recognized the genocide, right, of 1915. That was a big step towards, ending this tension between Armenia, Azerbaijan, Turkey. But you know what he didn't do? He didn't actually, after that, he didn't actually say, hey, Turkey, you guys have to admit that you did this, or hey, Turkey, take some responsibility, or any of that, right? Biden made a huge step of recognizing the genocide. Besides that, nothing else was done to help Armenia in this conflict, in this war, even though Biden actually took presidency like 4 months after the war ended. Not the war ended, but that conflict in 2020 ended.
Okay. So again, I'm not really seeing any better reason to indicate that Donald Trump would have led to better peace conditions. Again,
Right.
I've already indicated that there are many good reasons to indicate that there's been a greater set of conditions in which are less peaceful because of Donald Trump. Would you like to respond to any of those, or, I mean, do you think in general that Donald Trump is more likely to create peace? Is that your view?
Honestly, in terms of like foreign politics, I do believe Donald Trump is hailed more of like a hero in that sense. In terms of domestic, I do think he is stirring shit up quite a bit. I think honestly, at the end of the day, when you look at his attempts to at least broker peace deals with these countries, right? There was one in Asia that he did against, what was it, Thailand and Cambodia or something. He did one, Armenia, Azerbaijan, this, and this. Africa, I forget which nations they were, and obviously the ceasefire.
So what is your argument that he creates better conditions for peace? Because you just saying he's
Correct.
attempting to create peace does not mean he's created peace.
Well, he's been a little bit more successful on the foreign side to make these countries actually
So
sit
you're
down and
saying
have a
right now in
dialogue.
the world there's more peace because of Trump than there would have been if Harris were in office.
Look, honestly, I'm comparing it to Biden. I can't say to Harris. I
Even
because
if Biden were in
he
office,
didn't.
sure, Biden.
Right. So let's take Biden's last presidency, let's even take Obama's last president. Well, his first and second term.
No, you have to think about
Um,
what it would be if Biden were in the circumstances that Trump is in.
okay, fair. Let's say, for example, when the whole thing happened with what was I going to say? With Israel and Palestine, right? When the war broke out and October 7th happened, obviously the U.S. took no. Sorry about that. I think I was getting a phone call. But yeah,
Go ahead.
oh, yeah, I'm like hearing feedback.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I was
lost my train of
doing
thought.
something on my YouTube stream.
Yeah, I got a phone call too. But shit, I don't know. I lost my train of thought.
I clicked the
When
wrong one. What the
Biden
heck?
was in office, he pulled the troops out of Afghanistan. That was a shit show. He put Taliban
Trump
in.
set that up. Trump set up that agreement.
I mean, he set up the agreement, but that pullout was crazy. Like
So
that.
what did Biden do? What did Biden do with the pullout? That was so bad.
I mean, he pretty much just like went balls to the wall and said, "We're pulling out." He didn't even stagger that. He didn't even do it in
That's just
like
wrong.
short bursts.
It was.
But didn't he?
And
But he
he
didn't.
extended it to make it even longer in terms of the amount of time that they had.
But like it was kind of very abrupt, right? I mean, I don't know if the media
No.
just made it look like that.
The
But
media
wasn't
made
it
it
like
look like
all-
that because Biden extended it to give them even more time.
I don't know. I can't. I mean, you're right. Maybe you're right. To our view from the right wing, it was like a failed disaster. Obviously, there's a lot of propaganda that's involved in that. The right doesn't really give the news straight, nor does the left. Everything is jumbled up. But I would say that Afghanistan thing was a mess. And if it happened under Trump, it would have still been a mess, right? The Taliban gained control. They got so many weapons, billions of dollars of U.S. weapons, helicopters, tanks, everything. And then after that, the Ukraine and Russia war started. Now you can claim that it could have started under Trump, but it didn't, right? It started under Biden.
Okay, so what did the Biden-Harris administration do to cause that?
The Biden-Harris, they didn't do anything, but it did start under them. And
So then why do you bring that up? Like, what's the point? Like, there was 14.8% unemployment under Trump's administration. Do you blame Trump for that?
Yeah, I do. I
That's
actually do believe.
stupid. Don't do that. That's ridiculous. That happened
Well,
because of
look,
COVID.
he
Why would
worked
you
on
say
it.
I'm about to kick you because that was so stupid. I'm sorry, like
Why is that
genuinely, like I
stupid?
don't mean to be rude, but that was so fucking stupid. I
Why is
can't
that
believe you
stupid?
just said that.
Why is it stupid?
Because it was because of COVID. The 14.8% unemployment was not
Oh,
just
that's what you mean.
because
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
Trump,
Okay.
right? Like,
Yeah, yeah. Of course, of course. That's
okay,
outside factor.
so I have got
Oh.
you to realize that just because it happens under administration does not mean it's caused by said administration. That's a
You're
correlation
right.
causation
Yeah,
fallacy.
of course. But you know, if I was sitting here and on my screen I had, why do you support Biden? And I made that point like, oh, well, the war started during Biden. You know, obviously you can't say Biden started it, but you can say, hey, like he could have taken measures to prevent that, or maybe started the dialogue earlier, so that we weren't in this 4 years of war now, 3 or 4 years of war with Ukraine and Russia, right? You can say that.
So what could have Biden done?
I mean, he could have sat Putin down and Zelensky down early on, and
Did you know
maybe
that Putin has specifically not actually come to the table to have any type of negotiations because historically speaking, he's lied
Yep,
about that.
course.
They engaged in a negotiation in terms of an exchange of prisoners, and Putin violated that. You know
Yeah.
the Budapest Memorandum?
Yeah. No,
We
I
signed
don't.
an agreement with Ukraine and Russia that if Russia invades Ukraine, that we would defend Ukraine. So there was already an agreement that they violated by invading. So there was
Yeah.
already negotiations set up.
Of course, of course. And look, like you said actually, and prove me wrong, it's not Biden's fault. It did start under him, right? And the whole thing is the reason to blame Biden, not to really blame him for the war starting, but the reason to blame him is, hey, you know, the Israel conflict started, the Ukraine war started, and not enough measures were taken to get Putin and Zelensky on the table, to get them into, you know, start dialogue and start the ceasefires and the peace agreements. Now we're in a position where, you know, Zelensky came to Trump and they insulted Zelensky. That was a terrible show. And, you know, now it's even, I think, worse than it ever was, right? But I think in the earlier stages, it could have been avoided so that it didn't become this major shit show that it is now.
If you think that Trump would have avoided this, I'm sorry, but like you're just using speculation and you're not using
It
any
is
actual
speculation.
evidence.
It's 100%
So can we
speculation.
give an argument that's not just speculation? Because how am
I
I supposed
mean,
to respond to that other than
my
just with like
argument
I
is
think that you're wrong because it's no evidence exists there.
right. Like I mean, I guess the little amount of evidence you can use is that, you know, Putin actually flew out, made an effort to come and sit down with Trump, right? And
Nothing
nothing came of that. Nothing came of that, obviously, but he did make the effort to do that.
I hate
And
that
then,
just
you know,
effort is like an accomplishment, right? Like that's not an
it's not. It's
accomplishment. A
really
for
not.
effort, like what's the
But I mean, that's like literally kind of the most that they can do, right? They already provide aid to Ukraine. They already, you
there
know,
is nothing that they get from that because we already know that Putin is not negotiating.
Putin is not negotiating, yeah. But the like you're saying,
I give you examples of Putin violating negotiations. What do we get from negotiating if it is the case that he's just going to lie about the set of conditions?
well, then what's the solution? What would Biden come
We defend
up with?
Ukraine.
And that's what's going on. Obviously, Biden more than Trump, but that's what's going on.
So again, like, what's this point? What's the argument for why Trump would be better for peace? Because I gave many examples why it's significantly worse for peace.
I mean, why would he be worse for peace? Can you give me like
Yeah,
can you
he's bombed Iran. He's bombed boats off of Venezuela, right? He's
Right, but
literally
why
started
did he bomb
conflicts.
But why did he bomb Iran?
Why did he bomb Iran? Because he
Right.
pulled out of the nuclear agreement where we had surveillance over their nuclear enrichment facilities.
Mm-hmm. And what was the reason behind bombing Iran, right?
Did you hear anything I just said?
You kind of cut out. I didn't hear like the last 5 seconds.
Yeah, so we had an agreement with Iran, specifically in terms of the surveillance over their nuclear enrichment facilities, indicating that they specifically weren't developing nuclear weapons, right?
Uh-huh.
So the threat that Donald Trump bombed Iran for was that they could possibly develop nuclear weapons. But that's only because he particularly pulled out of that agreement.
Okay. And so because he pulled out of that agreement, would the same outcome happen if Kamala was president?
She would not have pulled out of that agreement.
I mean, what was his reason for pulling out of that agreement? I'm sorry, I'm not well versed in this on that, exact thing.
He thinks it gives them too much money, which the idea is that we specifically just got rid of the sanctions the U.S. put on them, right, in order to get them to agree to this deal. So, I mean,
Okay,
it was their money already.
gotcha. I mean, fair point. I can't argue with that, obviously. Um, but to claim that Trump is worse for peace than he is, I mean, I gave you examples that Biden was bad for the peace around the world. The fact that the Afghanistan, Israel, again, like
None
I'm
of those
saying,
were conditions for why he's bad for
none of
peace.
those,
I already
obviously.
explained.
But let me take a little bit of more of a pivot. Obama, right? The drone strikes, everybody blamed him for that. The deportations, that was obviously not foreign. There was a lot of things that he was criticized for that the Trump administration is being criticized for, and all of that were not being so heavily speculated as Trump is.
So you go back to Obama. I was I was not going live then, so like how could you hold the standard to me? Given that like it literally wasn't relative to the rhetoric I was engaging in.
Of course. I mean, Biden was vice president during Obama too, right? He was obviously not going against that. Um, it doesn't compare to what you're.
I can't hear you by the way.
Yeah, somebody's calling. But at the end of the day, when you're taking like, Trump is worse for peace, Biden would be better for peace. Biden was vice president under Obama. You know, all of this, what happened under Obama could have easily happened under Biden. Obviously, speculation, but you can't say one is
I'm
worse
about
for
to go
peace
on to the
than the
next
other.
person. Is there anything else you want to
All
talk
right, I mean,
about? I genuinely don't think that we're getting anything productive from this dialogue.
yeah, I don't think so either.
All right.
Honestly, I mean, I appreciate the time, but there was a couple other things, but it's already taken too long.
Oh no, if you want to address those things, go for it. I just don't think it's productive for us to have conversations about you speculating that Trump would have been better for peace when all the arguments you brought up I've responded to and given my positions on, indicating that actually significantly worse for that.
Yeah, that's fair. Oh, that's fair. You know what? Like the last point I wanted to make, which we talked about a little bit before, was your stance on the whole like deportation stuff and what's going on, domestically in the U.S. I don't really understand the whole point where people are saying, "Hey, like what they're obviously look." I'm going to preface this by saying the way that they're doing this, the way that they're deporting people, and the show that they're making is absolutely ridiculous. It's a clown show. It's, obviously not constitutional, but the Constitution doesn't protect undocumented immigrants. Is that a point that's fair to say that it doesn't?
No, it does. The Constitution grants due process rights for everyone within the jurisdiction of the country, which includes undocumented immigrants. So if you commit a crime within the country, you will go in front of a judge.
Right, and you will, of course. But let's say, or like you said, the Constitution protects the undocumented immigrants. If an undocumented immigrant crosses the border illegally, right, is he technically committing a crime, or is that not even a crime?
No, it is a crime. It's a misdemeanor to come into the country undocumented, but I don't think it's a law that we should be enforcing for people who haven't committed violent crimes and bad crimes, because I don't think it's a harm to our country, and I think our current immigration laws right now, they take too long to get into the country, so it's incentivized people to come to the country undocumented. And I think that we can also take in significantly higher scales of immigration.
So is it like a misdemeanor? I don't know. What can you compare that misdemeanor to? Is it like a slap on the wrist, or is it like it's something that you can get arrested for and put in jail and processed and all yada yada yada?
Oh, I would think it's comparable to like jaywalking when it's no threat to anyone's safety. There's no cars on the road. It's like super late at night, no cars around. You walk across the street. Is that bad? Do you think that you should be punished for that?
Look, I will play the devil's advocate with the super right wing conservatives. I will say like their point is like you're breaking into the country, right? Do it legally, do it lawfully. If you want to come to this country, crossing the border and not abiding by the rules and the laws of America, you're already here in a really negative light. And like here's my point. Again, I said it's not right what they're doing. Tracking back again, I know you're gonna laugh. Obama deported a lot of people, 3 million, I think it was. Trump has deported what, like 600,000, 500,000 so far. He is set to break records. the whole thing is like
He's
people are
proportionally deporting more if you look at the numbers, comparing that
right.
to 8 years. And then
Yeah.
secondly, Obama used a greater level of due process.
He did used to create a level of due process, correct? But there was a lot of photos, videos, news coming out of from the migrant, facilities of them being mistreated. There were some cases of them being, like right now, illegally deported. Obviously, that's not.
Again, there were violations of due process under the Obama administration, but nothing that was specifically comparative to the Trump administration.
Of course. But, right, if you look at it, what is Trump trying to accomplish with this whole deportation policy?
You tell me. That's your position.
He is trying to, first of all, obviously, him deporting immigrants is, hey, we're trying to fight the criminals in this country. 99%
He is a
of
criminal.
them. Of course, I agree with that. Yeah, he had 34 felonies. Of course, he's a criminal. But the point is, he would like to give me 1 second. I'm so sorry.
Okay. I guess while you look that up, I'll thank a few people in the meantime. I have a few people to thank. Andrew, thank you so much for the $20. Thank you so much. Absolutely. I would absolutely love some food recommendations for New York. That'd be great. That'd be great. I think I'll be fine. Thank you so much. Storm, thank you so much for the $50 on Venmo. Can we get some W's for Storm in the comment section right now? Thank you so much, Storm. I really appreciate the $50 on Venmo. Thank you so much. W's for Storm in the comment section right now for the $50 on Venmo. Thank you so much. Kazi, thank you so much for the $10. Probably just tired today and a lot of stuff going on. Also, just people were being annoying earlier. Like, to be honest, I had an annoying guest when I first hopped on the stream. Kimberly, thank you for the $25. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Kimberly. Let me know what your YouTube is. I am going to be adding more mods on YouTube for people who are always on YouTube. Mm-hmm. Brian, thank you so much for the $25. Thank you so much, Brian. And Angela with the $100 on Cash App. Can we get some W's for Angela in the comment section right now for the $100? Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Angela. I really appreciate the $100. Thank you. W's for Angela in the comment section right now. Thank you so much. That is so fucking kind. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Let me make sure to catch up on YouTube real quick. Give me 1 second, everyone. We're going to catch up on YouTube. Give me 1 second. By the way, we're in New York right now, so I will be back like on the 28th. I'll be back to my normal setup. Just letting everyone know. Maurice, thank you so much for the $20. Thank you so much, Maurice. I really appreciate it. Thank you. W's for Maurice in the comment section right now. Ryan, thank you for the £2. Sensitive, thank you for the $3. Maurice, again, thank you for the $5. DK with the $5. DK with the $2. London, thank you for the $5. Thank you, Tim, with the $10. Ray with the $10. On the Beard, thank you for the $10. Eric, thank you for the $5. Rachel with the $20. Thank you so much, Rachel. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It is fucking upsetting. Absolutely. He left? Okay, I'll have to go on to the next person, I guess. DK, thank you for the $2. On the Beard, thank you for the $2. Thank you. River, thank you for the £5. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, everybody, we're going to go on to the next person here real quick. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. If you want to support me as always, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, link tree in the bio, as well as the description of the YouTube, as well as you can support me over YouTube Super Chat. You accidentally...
Yeah, my bad. My connection cut out.
You're good, don't worry.
Yeah, what was I saying? Sorry, I completely forgot.
You were, I was thanking people, and I think you were, I actually might have forgot too. I think we were talking about Trump being a criminal and how you said he was upholding the law, and I would say it's actually not upholding the law to vote for Donald Trump because it ensured that he wasn't held accountable from a criminal court perspective.
Correct. Yeah, I completely agree with you on that. And there's a lot of points that like I'm agreeing with you on because he is a convicted criminal. Well, not convicted, but is he convicted technically?
Yeah, he was a convicted and sentenced criminal.
Right. Okay. And when he became president, was that the way, like a way of him trying to run away from those convictions, or like how does that work? How come he wasn't actually?
He wasn't put in prison because of that.
So him being president was the thing that ended him being, fully prosecuted by the law.
Like held accountable. He was prosecuted and convicted. He just wasn't sentenced to any prison time because of that.
I see. So I mean, I guess the left could make the argument that he ran for. Oh, well, he did all this, so he didn't go to prison, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely
That's
did.
fair. Yeah. That's fair. I mean, like I said, I don't really think that Trump
Well,
is a good
I'd actually say
person. I
from your
don't.
perspective, you're not holding him accountable by voting for him because it ensured that he wasn't sentenced to any prison time.
So I didn't vote for him either time, right? Purposely. Uh, Actually, I was 16 when he first ran, so I couldn't vote the first time. The reason why I support Trump, why I supported Trump, maybe I'm a little iffy now, is like I am a first generation. I was gonna say criminal. I'm a first generation immigrant, right? Coming to this country, we waited 9 years to get here. We did the whole process, got our visa, and I mean, a lot of my friends came here on illegally. They're undocumented immigrants that are going through the process correctly, right? They
You
are,
mean documented?
they are undocumented, right? So they
So
came
they're
here
not going through the
illegally.
correct process.
Well, they did. They are. So what they're doing is
If they're
they're
undocumented, they did not go through the correct process under your view.
no, they're going through the correct process, right?
So
Instead
now
of
they are.
just now they are. Yes, they didn't. Now they are. So what
Do you
they're
think that they
doing
should have
is
been
they're
deported prior?
no, I don't. Honestly, I don't think anybody should be deported based on the fact that they came as an undocumented immigrant,
Okay,
right?
then you disagree with Trump. You agree with me.
I agree with you. Yeah, like I said, I agree with you. But I do also understand the deportations, right? Because it happens under every administration. But my point is this, right? I came here legally as an immigrant. We went through the whole process. Like I said, waited 9 years to get that process done. It was a pain in the ass. There was a lot of emotions involved, yada, 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 whatever. This was 2007. Right now, like I said, friends that came here illegally, they're doing their check-ins, abiding by the law, paying their taxes, got their work, whatever, the Social Security with the work permits. They're, going every, I think, quarter or every half a year to check in with the ICE and the deportation facilities. The whole point is like if you go through the correct processes and you pay your taxes, you are a law-abiding citizen. Obviously, you shouldn't be deported because you're going to get a trial set, right? You're going to get a court hearing. You're going to go in front of a judge. They're going to hear you out, and they're going to either deny your stay here or they're going to grant your stay here. If every undocumented immigrant came the same way and did the same things, this world, it would be a perfect world, right? But that's not the case. There's a lot of criminals. There's a lot of people that come in front of a judge for their hearing with like 4 DUIs.
Most people
and
detained by
a bunch
ICE
of-
have no criminal record.
Most people don't, right? The whole
Yeah, over
deportation
70%.
thing. Yeah, the whole deportation thing is to get that 30%, and the rest is collateral damage, unfortunately, right? And like I said, I have friends, I have employees that are undocumented, parents, their step parents. It's a terrible situation. Did it happen?
Well, then
under
do you want a
Obama?
better system to address this?
100%.
I got you. So a better system to address this would specifically be to give people a pathway to citizenship if they're in the country already, if they have not committed a violent crime where they do not have to leave the country, a violent crime or bad crime. So that would incentivize everyone who does not have a prior criminal record to go through the legal process. And then everyone who would be in the country undocumented, not going through the legal process, would likely specifically have committed a violent crime or bad crime or has some type of criminal record. And that's why they're not going through said process. So that will make it easier for law enforcement to identify anyone in the country that's coming here for nefarious reasons or coming here that doesn't meet that particular set of criteria.
I mean, how would they go about doing that?
What?
How would they go about, enforcing that?
What do you mean? Like providing a
like-
pathway
like-
to citizenship for undocumented
Right.
immigrants who have not committed a violent
Right.
crime or bad crime? There's a vetting
Right.
process within the pathway to citizenship.
And do you agree that, that vetting process would take a lot of resources away from, let's say taxes and
No.
the time that it takes from, no?
No, it's not that much. It would be proportionally a small amount.
So do you think that he's spending more now with this whole ICE,
Probably.
deportation? And you think so? Yeah, fair.
Well, I mean, I don't know the exact estimates of how much it would cost to make this legal process go quicker to that extent.
course.
But over like $100 and something billion, I'm assuming that we'd be able to put that into our legal immigration processes and make them go faster.
I mean, Parker, would you agree with me when I say like the southern border should be more strictly enforced in a way of like not allowing as many people cross freely, where that would bring the collateral damage of drugs coming in, criminals coming in,
No.
all this stuff.
Most drugs in are brought by United States citizens, over 90%. So I think that my process is the best, incentivizing people to go through the legal process by making it significantly quicker, which incentivizes people to not come into the country undocumented, and
Right,
providing a
yeah.
pathway to citizenship for those that have not committed violent crimes or bad crimes. I
Of
would like
course,
to
and
limit collateral damage as much as possible. I think that my process does so.
yeah, your process would work. It would be an ideal scenario. This is what I think should happen, right? I believe that there should be a more strict and more policed southern border. I think it should be policed all around. I don't care if it's Mexico, Canada. If you come by boat, it doesn't matter, right?
We
The
won't
whole
need to police
point-
to a greater extent if it is the case that we create better legal processes. Because think about it this way.
Of course.
We're going after mostly people who we shouldn't be going after, right? So we're spending most of our time dealing with people who we shouldn't be dealing with, right?
Right.
From a law enforcement perspective. So
Yep.
if it is the case that we run under a bias system, well, then they'll be able to prioritize people who have criminal records rather than prioritize those without.
Of course, and to say something that's actually on your side, I think that all this stuff is going on. I think the whole process that Trump is taking is benefiting him personally, right? The Louisiana prison that they're sending him to, he has a stake in that. So a lot of people that are being caught in California, specifically in Los Angeles, are being sent to Louisiana, right? And then they're being processed and taken to Mexico or wherever respectively and being let out. And that's insane, right? Why would the drive from LA to Mexico is a 2-hour drive. Why would you send them to Louisiana, process them there to a full maximum security state prison, and then send them to Mexico, right? That's ridiculous. So there's a lot of corruption going on. There's a lot of, ICE agents that are acting as a terrorist group. They're acting like, Nazis. Obviously, that's what everybody's saying. They're like fascists. They
Like the
are.
Gestapo.
Like the Gestapo, exactly, the SS, which they are, of course, and I don't agree with that, right? One of my employees' stepdads got, taken, and he's gonna, I think, get deported, unfortunately, right? The way to end that, I think the best way to end it, your way is really good, but I don't think it's really plausible or possible under the Trump administration or any administration.
Under the Trump administration, but under a different administration, yes, we could. It's totally plausible.
You think so? I think that
What
would
makes it not
be.
plausible?
I mean, look, having them processed on time, right? That would just have so much, backlog of court cases, so much time that they need to. So look, if 14,000
The backlog would be less because we funded more people to be going through the process.
Yeah, but there needs to be judges, right? I mean, it's not going to be just
hire more immigration judges. Like
Yeah,
the
I mean,
bipartisan border bill under the Biden-Harris administration would have increased the amount of immigration judges.
But wouldn't
Did you know
that, cause migration to increase? It wouldn't cause migration to surge?
Well, I don't have an issue with immigration increasing. I think immigration is good to increase. By 2050, we're going to have a decreasing population, according to the Congressional Budget Office, a bipartisan committee from the federal government, because it is the case that, what's it called? Sorry, what did I just say? I read a comment. I completely forgot what I was saying.
You're saying that the population is going to decrease by 2050.
Oh yeah, 2050 population will decrease because we've had lower than replacement rate fertility rates since around the 1970s. So birth rates
Yeah.
are dropping, and that essentially means that we're going to have a reducing population because we're going to have a greater percentage of the population that is older on social services such as Medicare and Social Security for longer periods of time because of increasing life expectancy, but we're going to have significantly less proportionally younger people to be able to fund those systems that are working.
And you just mentioned something that I was going to talk about, the Social Security, Medicare, and what the government and the state provides to the immigrants, not just to the immigrants, to everybody actually. But since we're talking about immigration, let's touch on that. They are actually reaching undocumented immigrants, and they're giving them healthcare, dental, all the works. They're giving them, EBT, food stamps, which I agree with it, right? It obviously should be the case. But if you propose what you proposed in, getting the time cut in processing them, hiring more judges, yada, 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 and increasing immigration, right? that would in turn mean more and more people being put on the Medicare, Medi-Cal, getting more, California Medi-Cal, more people coming in and getting these benefits. Like I said, I don't oppose to it, but it's going to stretch the United States thin. If they all don't pay their taxes, if they all don't do what, as I said, my friends do, like, law-abiding citizens who go to the court hearings, don't break the laws, pay their taxes, do get their work visa or work permits, then that's an ideal situation. But if they don't, right, if they don't do all that and they come in and they use the resources that the United States gives them, they use the resources California gives them, it will stretch the country, the states very, very thin.
So undocumented immigrants, they commit lower rates of violent crime, drug crime, property crime in the United States compared to natural-born U.S. citizens. They have a higher labor force participation rate, meaning they work to a greater extent than natural-born U.S. citizens. Undocumented immigrants also paid over $100 billion in taxes in 2022. They would pay a greater percentage in taxes if they were provided a legal pathway to citizenship, right? Mm-hmm. So they would be even paying more. And the greater amount of people coming to our country, undocumented immigrants are not receiving like social services and federal services. Once they become legal and documented immigrants, they can get these different types of services, but they will get so at a lesser rate because they're proportionally younger and they're proportionally working to a greater extent.
Right. Yeah.
But so if they're proportionally working to a greater extent and proportionally younger, then they're going to be putting more into the system than they're going to be taking from it.
Yeah, that's true. But what I meant by that was, if the more people that come and there's going to be a larger number, like per capita, right? Let's say if 14,000 immigrants per day cross the southern border, the 70% split of, I don't know if that was the number you gave, 70% of them are not criminals, right? Or was
no criminal record. 72% no criminal record, according to the Trump's administration's own data.
Exactly. So if you take that number and you say, let's make it easier, 10,000 cross every day, right? If 70% of them don't have a criminal record, guess what 30% do? That's 3,000 a day that cross with a criminal record. And if you make that into a larger number, right? If you make that into 20,000, that's 6,000 a day that cross with a criminal record. You can't really say like, hey, these 6,000 a day, for example, that cross will go into.
These are people detained by ICE, not just who came into the country.
I mean, but so you propose them coming in, being detained, and then being let out, right? That's the whole point.
Well, I think that there should be a pathway to citizenship for people in the country who are undocumented.
Where does that pathway start?
Where does that pathway start? What do you mean?
Like, let's say they cross the border first day. Where does it start? They get captured by ICE. Like, how does it start?
We would pass this policy, and then they would be incentivized to identify themselves to authorities, because that would specifically give them better circumstances in terms of the job market, the labor market, and everything overall. It would
incentivize the 70%, but the 30%, or the 28% would probably not go through that process, right? And the more immigrants
so then it would be easier for law enforcement to identify that.
It would be easier to identify it, but how easy it is to actually get it, get them caught, get them processed, find out that they're criminals. It's a very, very labor-intensive and resource-intensive thing, right? It's very difficult. I'm not agreeing that what's going on right now, the deportations, even under Obama, are correct, but especially under Trump, right? The way they're doing it is like, hey, let's get them all, and if they're not criminals, it's collateral damage. Who cares, I don't agree with that. I think the process should be as such. They put a system in place where when people cross the border, right, they will automatically be processed, right? Automatic. That's what I'm saying. More enforcement on the border doesn't mean more deportations. It just means when they get caught coming into the U.S., they are immediately processed. Right? And if they have a criminal background, if they have a history of being deported and coming back in because of X, Y, and Z reasons, then that process would be much easier for people to weed out in the country, to weed out and figure out, hey, this is the 72%, this is the 28%. Am I not wrong? Am I wrong?
Well, the issue is that they're not going through that legal process right now because it takes too long. If you're saying that you want to make the legal process go quicker, then you agree with me, not the Biden,
I agree
not the
with
Trump
you,
administration.
right. But I believe in enforcing the southern border to do that, right?
Once
In
we have
your-
legitimate laws, we don't have laws right now that are legitimate because it
Yeah,
takes way too
correct.
long to get into the country. So
It takes way too long, but you're proposing like, hey, let's hire more judges, let's have them in front of a judge so that they can plead their case and get accepted because they're not criminals. What I'm saying is, enforce the southern border, let them come. Like the more the merrier, right? If they come through, let them be processed immediately on the spot. There should be more enforcement on the border. In that case, then the criminals can leave immediately. Instead of doing the whole process of, hey, now we're going to have to go after them in the country and cause this whole shit show that's going on right now.
dude, the reality is that there are already people in the country. So I'm talking about the people that
That's
are
the reality.
already in the country. This is the
Right.
process that we do for people who are already in the country. For people who are coming to the country, yes, it is the quicker legal process where they will get, specifically when they try to come through the border, they can go through the legal process that way.
Yeah, and so you agree with me. That's a good process, right? To catch them and document them like early.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else you want to talk about, Arad?
I mean, no, am I wrong? Enforce the border so that they can come in. The ones that are not criminals can come in, and the ones that are criminals can be processed out.
I've already given you my response on this multiple times. Is there any more clarification you'd like me to engage in?
I mean, not really. We both came to agreement that this process should change. I gave you one reason, one way of doing it. You gave another. So I don't know what to say.
Sure. All right. Well, I appreciate you coming up, man.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Thank you. Have a great day. Let's go on to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Let me say thank you to a few people, and then we'll go on to the next person real quick. Andrea, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $5. Thank you so much. Kimberly with the $25. Thank you so much, Kimberly. I really appreciate it. Give me some W's for Kimberly in the comment section right now. Thank you so much. I'll definitely make sure to look for you. Bailey, thank you so much for the $1. Thank you. Chloe with the $100 on PayPal. Put some W's for Chloe in the comment section right now for the $100 on PayPal. Thank you so much, Chloe. I really appreciate it. As well as Renee with the $50. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Renee. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Renee. I really appreciate it. Yes. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
I'm 35, Parker.
Do you support Donald Trump?
Yes, I do. I voted for the Don.
Okay. If you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris.
You've spoken before, old boy. You know that, right?
Okay. Well, then I don't know. Why'd you come back up? Don't I have on my screen that you have to never debated me before?
I'll just do better next time, I guess. Remember who you...
Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen to help get it out to more people. As always, everyone, we probably have another hour or so left on the live, everyone. So if you really want to help out, push out the stream to more people, I would really appreciate if you like the stream. It seriously would mean the world. Tomorrow, I probably won't be live. I'll keep everyone updated, though. Maybe I'll be live super early in the morning. And then the other days here while I'm in New York, I'll likely be live super early in the morning. Just letting everyone know. I'll try to keep everyone updated on Instagram though. And I should be back on to my normal setup on the 28th. Just letting everyone know. Oh, okay. Well, as soon as they joined, I got to the next person. Alrighty, only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
42.
Do you support Donald Trump?
I do support him only for the fact that he's our president. I can't stand him, though. I wish he wasn't our president.
If you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for?
Oh, Harris, for sure. Can't stand Trump.
Okay.
But
so the next person, only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
I'm 23.
Do you support Donald Trump?
Yes, I do.
What's your birth year?
April 28th, 2003.
And you said you're how old again?
22, almost 23.
What? You're not almost 23, dude. You're about 6 months
Either
away.
way, either way, I'm just debating. It don't matter.
It does matter. You have to be 18 plus. Are you sure you're 18, man?
22, yeah.
Then why'd you say 23?
Because I'm almost 23.
You're not even close, dude. I'm born in April. I'm not almost 24.
What year were you born?
2002.
Okay, either way.
No, not either way. I'm sorry. You don't just get you don't
Yes,
get it wrong like
yes,
that.
I support
That's
Trump.
6 months away, about half a year away, and you're like, I'm almost 23.
All right, either way, I'll be crying about it.
Okay, are you actually of age though?
I swear to God, I'm of age.
Okay, well then, all right. I don't know how you got that wrong then. All right, so why do you support Donald Trump? If you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for?
Donald Trump.
Okay, and why is that?
Don't be wrong. I like Trump, but I don't agree with the Epstein files and everything and all that. But I would still take him over Kamala Harris any day.
Kamala, why so?
I mean, the facts just kind of show themselves, I guess. Democrats are unstable. We see the way you guys act. I don't know.
Tell me how. Like, how do I act that's unstable?
Should I pull up the countless videos of nonstop rallies and Kamala Harris is runner-up.
Nonstop rallies? What's wrong with a rally?
Tim
How is
Walls.
that?
Isn't
How
that
is-
the guy
how is a
that
rally
wanted
a
to
bad
put kitty litters in classrooms?
No.
And you support that?
No, he never put kitty litters in
No, I'm
classrooms.
saying obviously he didn't. She's not president, but he supported that.
No, he didn't. What are you talking
Yeah.
about?
Yeah. He did.
When? Can you give me a source? I can't hear you when you're out of the app, just letting you know. What's your source?
Here, I'm gonna be quiet. I'm finding the source for you though.
All right. In the meantime, if you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen. Carol, thank you for the $25 on PayPal. Thank you so much, Carol. Can we get some W's for Carol in the comment section right now? Thank you so much. I really appreciate the $25. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right. October 3rd, 2022.
What about it? Can't hear you when you're out of the app, just letting you know. Big Sugar was spamming in the comment section that Parker was too scared to debate him. Who are you, bro?
You're too scared to debate. Hey, honestly, I
who
can't
are
talk.
you?
I can't talk and read this article at the same time. But if you have a computer next to you, look it up because I'm actually speaking facts.
But I don't. Who are you?
You're saying my name as you speak. Big Sugar. You were
Obviously,
ducking me.
'cause you're on my
All
stream.
right.
How am I ducking
All
you if I
right.
don't know who you are?
Okay, so you agree with the government being shut down right now because you agree with wanting us to pay for illegals' healthcare? That's crazy.
Okay. Well, I have a question. Do you think that we should just let undocumented immigrants die in the emergency room without providing them care?
No, I think they should send them back to Mexico and they can take care of them because they're legally in this
say they're
country.
dying. Would you clarify whether or not someone's legally in the country if they're dying in the emergency room?
So say if we went to another country that we were allowed to be in and they did the same thing.
Let me clarify. A doctor is in the context of the emergency room, and someone is dying. Okay, should they clarify whether or not they're legally in the country before they take care of them?
They can't come in the country legally and expect to be just taken care of. That's like coming to the country illegally.
You're not understanding my
sick.
no. Answer my
sick.
question.
And then
What
they're
should the doctor
they're
do?
dema-
Should the
they're
doctor?
demanding-
Should the doctor, when
demanding to
specifically
get free
comes
healthcare.
into the hospital, should they clarify their legal status before they take care of them and save their life?
Okay, but is that what I asked you though?
Can you answer my question?
I said, do you agree that we should pay for every illegal's healthcare? That's why
No. All undocumented immigrants, their healthcare is not paid for. But in emergency circumstances, it is. And by the way, in the context of the bill that they were trying to agree upon, they're not even trying to get rid of healthcare for undocumented immigrants in emergency situations. They're claiming undocumented immigrants are getting healthcare benefits in terms of like health insurance. That's what they were claiming, which is false. Completely false. Not even close.
Okay, so when during the election, when Democrats brought in millions of illegal
By the way,
immigrants
why are
and put them
people
up
spamming your 15 in the comment section?
and put them up in hotels
Hey,
and
answer
all
my
this
question.
just to have illegal votes. Wait, what'd you say?
Why are people spamming 15? I saw one person say that you have on your Twitch that it says you're 15.
I don't even have a Twitch. I'm 22 years old.
Okay. All right.
Either
Chad,
way,
where,
back to what I was saying,
where are you getting this from if he doesn't even have a Twitch?
Yeah, 15's crazy. This ain't even my real account either, so.
So whose account is it?
It's my account, but
Chat, where do you see his Twitch?
chat, find my Twitch and please send it to me.
Yeah, what's his Twitch, chat?
Am I speaking facts and that's why they're trying to say I'm 15 to get me kicked out? That's crazy.
No, you didn't say anything.
That's crazy. No, what I was
so-
saying was during the election,
It's actually
when you guys,
embarrassing
the
that you just
Democrats
tried to
brought
act
in
like it was
a
because that was the
million
reason.
illegals just to get illegal votes. That's what was crazy, and still lost the
Undocumented
election.
immigrants cannot vote.
And still lost the election.
Undocumented immigrants cannot vote.
And that's also why you guys should do the mail-in ballots for another reason to try to win, which also failed. I mean, it's
voted
one thing
mail-in.
after another. It's crazy.
Trump voted mail-in. Mail-in ballots are historically very, very low in terms of their fraud rate.
And I'm pretty sure it was the state of Texas that found over a million votes out of dead people and other stuff too, if I'm not mistaken.
Give me a source on that one.
Yeah, look it up. I don't just say
are
this
you
shit.
trolling?
Yeah, I just pulled that out of the thin air.
Yeah, you actually literally did. What's your source?
Yeah, I pulled that. Look it up. I swear to God.
What's your source?
It was all over the news when that happened.
How about you look it up? It's your source.
Yeah, but I can't talk and read the same source at the same time. It won't let me.
You can read it and remember.
That is facts, though. So whether you believe it or not,
Can you go find
I
it?
don't
read
really-
it and remember it, then come tell me.
okay.
Okay. Give me a second, everyone. If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen, everybody. We're gonna start getting some more debates up here. Do give it a second for people to join up. Give me a second. Let me add the next person up here. We're gonna give him some help because he clearly needs it.
Texas finds 2,700 illegal immigrant votes on their ballots. That's what's crazy.
Wait, you said
And that's
dead
for-
people are voting.
Dead people too. I'm just giving you one of the sources too. So
And by
that's
that's not enough to change
just
the
adding
election
on to
results.
it.
That's not
That's
enough
just
to
adding
change
on.
the-
Yeah, you're
that's
right.
not
It
enough
didn't.
to
Trump
change the
still
election
won.
results.
Trump still won.
And also, by the way, did all of those votes go to Trump?
So
I mean,
let me
not
ask
to
you
Trump,
something.
Did all of those Trump?
If you had to go back in time, would
did
you
all
vote
of
for
those?
Trump or
Did all of
Kamala?
those votes go to Biden or Harris? And what was your specific source? What's the title? 2,700 is different than a million. Yeah, that's a huge difference.
No, I just said that was one of the sources, and that's what the headline was of the
What
source.
was the title? Can't hear you when you're out of the app. You have to come back into the app after remembering it.
Look it up. Look up fraudulent votes.
No, tell me the title.
Look at Texas finds 2,700 illegal dead votes, and that's just Texas. I'm not even naming the other states.
Give me the what? news
God knows
organization
how
is
many
it-
other states
What
had
news
that.
organization is it from?
Fox News. See, you can't say that though because that's like me saying your news
okay.
station says false shit too,
What's
right?
the title? Repeat the title again.
All right, I'm gonna tell you something. Ready? Type this out. Ready?
Go ahead.
Fraudulent votes.
That's not the title.
No,
Give me
look
the
it up
title.
and look out. Because I want you to
Give
see
me
all the
I've
articles.
already done research on this.
So you know about it.
Watch this.
Wait, so you don't believe it then, or you just?
The 60-plus courts that indicated no sufficient evidence to overturn the election, I believe them. The audits that all indicated no sufficient evidence to overturn the election, I believe them. I don't believe claims from the Trump administration. I don't believe random Fox News articles when they had the largest defamation case against them for denying the results of the 2020
Yeah, there's a
election.
reason the Democrats have to sue them because all they speak is facts.
It wasn't Democrats suing them.
Who was it suing them?
You look it up.
Someone related to Democrats.
Nope.
Obviously,
Who
the
was it?
Democrats just
Who
can't
was
sue
it?
them as
Who
a
was
whole.
it? Who
They
was
can't
it?
sue them as a whole.
Wait, okay, so I have people in my chat I trust saying that you're 15. Get off my stream.
Yeah.
Alright, let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. I am just looking for some debates, everybody. Let's go on the next person. We have like a little bit less than an hour left on the stream, everybody. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Hey Parker, shut the fuck up, bitch.
How old are you?
Shut the fuck up, ugly ass pussy.
How old are you?
I'm 18, bitch.
What's your birth year?
2007.
What month?
Fucking September, ho.
Okay. If you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for?
Trump.
Why so?
'Cause he's just better, bro. And you ugly as fuck, bitch.
You wanna actually give me an argument instead of just calling me ugly?
Trump yo daddy, ho.
Do you want to give me an actual response?
Nah, not really. 'Cause you don't.
Are you trolling? Yeah. Like, bro, what are you talking about? That was the easiest easiest.
26. I was on the other night. You said you wanted me back on. I was the one who said the F drug, if you remember.
Oh, yes. Thank you for telling me. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I just want to address a couple things to be clear. So earlier you mentioned that Miranda rights need to be read every time that someone's arrested, which is not accurate. I just want to be upfront. Like, that is under custodial interrogation only. It has to be read, not under every arrest. So it's for questioning only. As well, I think we can both agree that deportation
Wait, no,
is
it is for arrests. Like, when they get arrested, you have to read the Miranda rights. If not, then the charges specifically that are applicable to them then aren't actually going to uphold.
that is not true. I want you to genuinely
Because
research
we're
that.
talking about arrests, not just detainment.
Correct. Yes. So under an arrest, whenever you are arresting someone, you only have to read Miranda rights if you are questioning them for something that will be used against them in court. Otherwise, you do not need to read Miranda rights. I genuinely.
Can I have a source for that?
Yeah, it's hold on a second. Again, if you remember, I am a LEO. Let me get you a good case law.
For sure.
So Miranda v. Arizona. These rights must be read to a suspect only when they are in custody, not free to leave, and the subject is being subject to interrogation, express questioning, or its functional equivalent.
If you're arrested, though, do they have to read Miranda rights?
No, only if it is under interrogation. That's what it's saying, and being subject.
So if you're being arrested, wouldn't you be also subject to interrogation?
No, that is not. So if I'm going to give you an example, if say I arrest you for driving under the influence, right, and I have no questions for you, I'm not asking you anything that would lead to your arrest or anything. I have probable cause already to do my field sobriety. I take you to jail. I get the blood draw. I do all of that stuff. I ask you no questions. There is no need for Miranda. Now, say I arrest you for, I don't know if I can say the M word, unaliving someone. Then I ask you questions about that, and I don't read you Miranda. Nothing I asked you can be used in court whatsoever. Now, if I read you Miranda, it can all be used against you in the court of law, which is why it's advised to you that you can stop answering questions at any point and consult with an attorney.
I mean, I read what you're saying.
Yeah. So I also wanted to, I just want to make sure you're educated on that.
It does say when arresting you or holding you for custodial interrogation. But I mean, I'd have to. I can look in later. I don't really have an issue with accepting this.
Yeah, no, you're good, man. Just look up Miranda v. Arizona. That's the case law. And then as far as the arrest and detainment of illegal immigrants, the other thing that a lot of people skim over is that there's 3 specific things in U.S. Code. 8 U.S.C. 1226A, which allows ICE to arrest and detain a non-citizen pending a decision on whether they should be removed, which, okay. 8 U.S.C. 1357A gives ICE officers authority to arrest without a warrant if they believe, so reasonable suspicion, a person is unlawfully in the U.S. and likely to escape before a warrant can be obtained. And then 8 U.S.C. 1231A, which authorizes detention during the removal process after a deportation order has been issued. Now,
yeah, I mean, I would have to look through and specifically see the different codes in terms of that, and to see whether or not you're claiming that. A lot of these particular circumstances, right, aren't true in the circumstances in which they are not providing the particular warrant or providing the what's it called, not identifying themselves and whatnot. when
So
arresting people, because they
so-
have to identify themselves. Otherwise, you won't be able to tell them from anyone else who's just claiming to be ICE when they're not actually ICE.
So a big thing that a lot of people also, a misconception, as I'll call it, is that law enforcement is constitutionally or rightfully mandated to identify. You must identify as a law enforcement officer with a badge or something that clearly states law enforcement. A badge or something small like that is still, whether like it or not, I don't agree with it personally, I will say that, does still qualify as identification as a law enforcement officer.
No, if it just says ICE, that's not identification. A badge specifically with an identification number would specifically be identification for a particular agent. Otherwise, if it just says ICE, that's not identification. Wearing masks, right, is not identification. All of those things are specifically things that they do to conceal and hide their identity, which I think is actually something that you shouldn't be allowed to do from a law enforcement perspective. So say it even was the case that it was legal for this to occur, it shouldn't be legal, right?
So here's the flip side, and I want you to kind of play devil's advocate for yourself for a minute, okay?
Okay.
If you were strongly hated in the cartel as they are right now, offering hits on these people, it's a safety thing at a certain angle. And I can understand also the angle of that people don't love what they're doing. And I can agree that there are things that they're doing that I do not agree with. Rightfully so, I can see that standpoint. However, at the same time, these people still have to go home to their families, and they still want to hide their identity from the people who will cause them harm. Every day, they're put on social media, put on the news. Their faces would be everywhere. And you and I both know how easy it is to be doxxed. It is nothing for a law enforcement officer to be doxxed, especially someone at a federal capacity, because we're all public
Then
employees.
you should not be a law enforcement officer. Because
And then
police
this-
officers have to do it. Please explain to me why police officers have to do it, but ICE agents do not.
We don't. Have you ever heard of Jump Out Boys?
No, I haven't.
So Jump Out Boys is basically a group. It's numerous agencies, Los Angeles, New York, a bunch have it. It's a program that basically responds to high crime areas and enforces high liability laws, right? So they'll jump out on gangs, they'll do all that stuff in a very aggressive manner. They cover their faces. They jump out with only a vest on, just like ICE, wearing jeans and a t-shirt. That's what they do. It is not uncommon, right or wrong. It's not uncommon. And they'll do it out of a marked car. For an example,
They're still going to have a mechanism to identify themselves, and they're going to identify themselves whenever they make arrests, right? They have to have a badge, right? They have a badge on themselves. They are going to identify themselves, right? Those are specific mechanisms that they have to identify themselves. ICE agents that are specifically doing this, they do not have a badge number. They don't have specific identification in terms of their face. You're saying that they specifically shouldn't have to be able to identify themselves in any manner because it could be harmful to their health, right? Or harmful to them in terms of their safety. Well, then maybe they shouldn't be an ICE officer. Maybe they should be an ICE agent because that's harmful to them.
what I think the workaround truthfully is that once they're in a secure setting, then no matter what, they should have to identify to that person, at least with the last name and a number. Okay. I can agree with that. I think it's very hard in a public setting where, say, you're on the corner in New York by Macy's Fifth Ave and you're surrounded by people. Okay. That's a very dangerous setting. What I also can say, though, is it doesn't make the arrest.
I'm sorry, like, you understand that if you're going to be an ICE agent, that job, you are deciding and consenting to engage in a particular job that has a higher risk factor in terms of this by a significant extent. So if you're not willing to be able to uphold this in terms of identifying yourself, well, then don't be an ICE agent. It's part of their job. It is a necessary element of the job. If this is not a part of the job, well, then people are going to get harmed. And I care a hell of a lot more about the people that will generally get harmed because of not identifying ICE agents, right? Because now we can't hold ICE agents accountable for the crimes they commit or for the things they do that are wrong, specifically whenever trying to arrest and detain people. We can't specifically identify who they are, right? There's no actual standard for whether or not they're actually an ICE agent, right? The people who are specifically being detained or they're being arrested, they don't even know if they're an actual ICE agent until well after they've been arrested. So they could be kidnapped by some random people, right, who are just claiming to be ICE agents, and then they won't even be able to identify whether or not they're actually legitimately ICE until after the point in which they've been kidnapped.
So, and I don't disagree with your standpoint. I see where you're coming from, but also look at all these ICE agents. They are wearing necklace badges. They are wearing a badge. Okay. It might not be that they're wearing the full getup like a cop.
Is it an identification badge for them specifically?
new detectives don't even do that. I mean, that's
Yes,
not
they do.
something
They have badge numbers that identify them specifically.
I don't know what I genuinely do not know what an ICE badge looks like, but I can tell you that it is not uncommon for a detective to have a badge that just says where they work, not with a
No,
number
it
on it.
identifies who they are. Like I mean, if you'd like to show me specifically where there are particular detectives that don't have identification badges,
Yeah,
right,
if
then I
you,
would love to see.
so I'll offer this to you. If you want to send me a private message, I can show you my own place, how that works, and I can show you other things as well that are not okay to put over the air right now, just for my personal reasons. I'd
Are you
happily show
ICE?
them. No, I'm not. I'm
Okay.
a local. Um,
Okay.
so
All detectors have badge numbers, though. I don't know any. Maybe it's a local area that you're in, but to my knowledge, every single one that is a detective will have an identification badge.
it's not just local to me, man. I can tell you that something that a lot of people don't notice is that, of course, like they call it a brotherhood. We all talk across the nation, right? It's not uncommon. Like for us, we have identification numbers that are only called employee numbers. We do not have badge numbers. That's something that a lot of agencies do have, but we don't have to identify ourselves by policy nor law. Agree or disagree, it doesn't matter. But that's not a across the board blanket thing.
I mean, I when I look this up, I see that they do.
Who ICE or who specifically?
No, just look it up for police officers.
Yeah, I mean, again, many agencies do, and many
Wait,
agencies.
actually, wait, hold up. I do see one that says not every single detective has a badge number, as it depends on their agency and jurisdiction. Okay, so there's some areas that don't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not a blanket thing. Like it's not mandatory by law, right? So
That's private investigators. Law enforcement detectives and agencies like the NYPD have badge numbers, which are specific to the individual officer. Identification badges and badge numbers are used to identify law enforcement department policy. Some agencies require officers to wear badges, where others may use different identification systems. So they still have identification systems.
yeah, absolutely.
So
And
there's
that's-
still a required identification system.
but even that first part just said badges, right? Like it even said right there that it doesn't require. It could be an and or. So
But
not
it's
every
some method of identification.
right. And that's what I'm saying is that
So
ICE still
do
wears
you think
the-
ICE agents should have to have some method of identification?
and they do. They wear the badges around their neck.
That's
right?
not a specific mechanism of identification.
But like you just read out loud, it still says and.
Those
or.
but those are for specific mechanisms for identification. It says some places don't have the specifically badges for the specific mechanisms for identification, but they have some other way of a form of identification.
Yeah, that's so. What I think is that there needs to be a way to
Like,
identify.
for example,
yes.
radio call numbers.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's an example. That's a specific identification number, right?
Yeah, but that's also not something that. So let me tell you this: if I give you my radio identification number right now, in 6 months, it's going to be changed most likely, because a lot of agencies do
That
the same
doesn't
thing.
change it. I mean, that doesn't change the reality that it's an identification number.
But what I'm saying is that if you try to go make the complaint 6 months later, it's not going to apply.
Well,
You
that
don't-
shouldn't be the case, right? That's obviously absurd.
I don't disagree with you, but that's how a lot of agencies work. It's something that needs reworked across America or just within certain agencies. I don't disagree with you, but that's the way it goes. And there's a lot of inconsistencies and a lot of imperfections in America across the board. And with that, a lot of people need to come together, and Democrats, Republicans need to come together and stop being so hard left, hard right. Come together and find a damn middle ground and stop being so
Then why do you
obnoxious.
support Trump? Trump is
support-
far right.
So let me be bluntly clear with this. I support Trump because of his steadfast, kind of strong mentality of things where he stands by what he believes and he is hard set, where a lot of people don't want to F with us as a nation because of that. When I look at, I'm sorry, please correct me if I say her name wrong. Is it Kamala?
Kamala, yeah.
Kamala. If I look at Kamala, there was a lot of kind of failure to answer questions, a lot of let's circle back to that or diversion of answer. And I can't support that. We need someone who is steadfast in what they believe and what they know.
Okay, that's not Trump. That is, I think it's laughable for you to say that's Trump, because he specifically has gone back and forth on his position on Ukraine over and over and over again. He specifically came in saying that he's not going to fund Ukraine and that they're done doing so, right? And that specifically Ukraine was going to have to give up land. And then it changed to, we can take back the entirety of Ukraine from Russia, right, in its original form. And then now he's back to defending Putin again, saying that Putin is actually looking for peace, when prior he was saying Putin wasn't looking for peace.
Yeah, and see, and that's So how much of that, though, let's look at this also on a national scale, is political baiting? Just like someone might come on here and rage bait.
Wait, I'm
It's
sorry.
the-
So couldn't you say the same thing for Kamala Harris? So why is this uniquely a thing that you apply to Trump but not Kamala Harris?
So my big thing for Kamala is that she wouldn't even touch that ring. She would get into the ring with the interviewer, and she would beat around the bush. She wouldn't give a straight answer to begin with.
This is not true. I watched all of these interviews. She gave direct answers. I can give you plenty of clips where Donald Trump does not answer the questions directly.
You're right. He does that a lot, but that's politics in general, right?
Okay, so then why is it politics in general for Trump, but it's not politics in general for Kamala Harris? I think it's actually dishonest for you to say that because you're only applying the standard to Kamala Harris.
I'm not. I would say that about any politician. Genuinely,
Then you didn't say it about Trump, though. Trump's a politician. You didn't say it about him.
You
just did after I called it out. You originally were saying that sets Trump away from Kamala Harris and sets him distinct from Kamala Harris. That was your argument, right?
So I can't remember, and I'm sorry. If I could pull the source right now, I would, and I'd show you the video. If you message me, I'll happily send it to you later. There was one specific interview that swayed me, and it was after Biden was removed from the running, and she took his spot. She sat down in the chair and she said a whole lot of it was filibustering. That's all it was. And I'm not saying Trump doesn't do that, because he does. All politicians do, even low-level politicians. The problem with that is that at least when we have Trump go in the room with, we'll say, Zelensky, he'll sit down with him and he'll talk to him. He was able to get Putin to the table, even though nothing came of it. And I'm going to be honest, I don't think anything could come of it. Biden could have sat down. Kamala could have sat down with them. Nothing would have came of it. Let's be honest. Putin is a dictator who doesn't care. But at the end of the day, there was at least a mutual respect there where he was willing to talk to him. And I know you touched on this earlier. I'm not going to ask you to restoke a flame that I already heard your whole argument about it. And I agree with you on a lot of your standpoints.
Okay, a few things with this. I don't think that just having a conversation demonstrates mutual respect. So I don't think that's a good point. And also, if nothing comes from it, what's the point of doing it? There's no goal to it. There's no point to it. If nothing comes from it.
If we said that about everything, then this public forum that you hold would mean nothing as well. Because
no, things come from this. If nothing came from having these conversations, I wouldn't be doing them.
You're right. I'm just using an example. Don't believe that I'm saying that it doesn't. What I'm saying is that even with the conversation, correct me if I'm wrong, with Putin and Trump, there was some concedement that came from it. Nothing major, nothing that was actually worth a damn, if I'm being blunt. But it definitely was still something that produced conversation, showed that there was still a route to go. If we cut off all attempts to talk and we closed every phone network down, then we would be in a blackout of just madness as a world. At least keep the lines open. If nothing comes from it, at least there was a phone line there.
You get nothing from it, though, right? If you get nothing from it, what's the point? There's literally no point.
Again,
because you got nothing from it. Seriously, think about it this way. Genuinely, if you get nothing from it, what was the point? Answer that question.
Like I said, I think that it's important to keep an open line.
That's saying that you get something out of it then.
Everyone gets something. Then the world gets something.
Okay, so we would get something out of it. Is that your claim?
My claim is that you keep an open line. That way you do not lose that. If you stop communicating, you have nothing.
You have nothing either way, because the open line of communication you've already identified would not lead to anything.
I understand your side, and I'm not going to
So I don't understand what you think you're getting from this. I think it's performative.
I don't disagree with you. I think it's performative with an added aspect of, again, I think we're going to agree to disagree on this one. I think it's one of those things where it's important to keep an open line just so it's there in the future. And it might not amount to anything right now, but you never know what it might amount to in the future.
Well, there's openings for the future. I don't know why under either administration you would think that there isn't an opening for the future. If there was an ability for them to come and negotiate, that same thing would exist under the Biden-Harris administration. I don't know how that's unique to Trump. Even because there is an open line of communication that can be opened at any point.
Putin flat out said he did not respect and did not want to meet with Biden. That was an open statement that Putin made.
And he also said that Kamala Harris was a better candidate. Now, do you think that he was telling the truth?
Between him and Biden, or him and Trump, or her and Trump? I'm sorry.
Her and Trump.
Again, I would say I'd still vote for Trump. So that would
No,
not
but like,
be true.
do you believe Putin when he says that, or do you think he's just lying to manipulate us?
I think he's lying to manipulate.
There you go.
Out.
So that's exactly what I'm saying.
I mean, yeah, I can see your side. Again, genuinely, I can. I think that if nothing else, let me say this, and that's it. Like, open communication like this is what's important for us. And I agree with you on a lot of standpoints, and I give you that respect. You are right about a lot of things. January 6th, I know that the other night you said you wanted to bring that up to me. And let me just say, I completely agree with your standpoint on that. I do not respect or agree with anyone being pardoned for the harm that was brought upon anyone that day, whether it was law enforcement or the public. I don't believe in that. I also disagree with, I am blanking on his name, the Republican who was just pardoned as well. I don't believe in that whatsoever. I disagree with it wholeheartedly. I also look at statistics, and I can pull this up real quick because I had it already pulled up earlier, just a few minutes ago. Under Barack Obama, the average unemployment rate was 7.41. Donald Trump from 17 to 21 was 5.4. Biden was 4.8. And then the current one, according to this, is running a 4.1 to 4.2 average, with the latest one being 3 even, up from 2.9. And that was just from the September rating, and that was delayed due to the
unemployment. I don't know where you get that number from. It's 4.3% currently. It's gone from 4.0 to 4.3. I don't know why you would do the average for just like the 2 months, right? If you're only going to or not 2 months, 2 quarters. If you're not going to compare the previous 2 quarters under the Biden-Harris administration.
2 seconds here.
Right, and like genuinely, like Trump has led to an increase in unemployment since he's got in office.
So according to the Joint Economic Committee, 3.01% is the headline CPI-U inflation.
That's inflation, yeah.
Yes, sorry. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. I'm so sorry. I misspoke when I said that out loud earlier.
Yeah. Okay. Inflation went from, it's the same percentage as what it was when he first got in office, because 3% is the same, but it went down to 2.3% by April, and it's trended up since then because of his imposition of tariffs. So Donald Trump is putting upward pressure on prices, which is going to continually put upward pressure because of the fact that, we've reduced interest rates. So the Federal Reserve has reduced interest rates knowing that it's going to put upward pressure on prices, given the fact that our jobs report was so bad that we needed to stimulate job production.
I got you. Yeah, I see that 4.3 right now. I'm looking at that on the BLS.gov. All right, man. Look, I'm not going to keep you. I know there's other people who want to talk to you. Like I said, I openly invite you to message me. I'll happily talk to you more. And then also definitely look up that case law. I'm all about educating for the law enforcement side. If you can use it in your arguments, great. If not, at least you know about it, man. I'm all about public knowledge and their rights and stuff.
For sure. All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you. Have a good one.
You as well. Let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Let's go on to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen. Let's try to get to 2,000 likes. If you're on YouTube, I would really, 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 really appreciate it, everyone. Kathy, thank you so much for the $10. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I'll have to look more into that specifically. Thank you so much, Kathy. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Christian, thank you for the $5. I really appreciate it. Another Christian, thank you for the $50. Thank you so much, Christian. I appreciate the $50. Thank you very much. 2 different Christians. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. It's so kind of you. As well as Scarlett, thank you so much for the $1. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I think I'm fully caught up on Venmo, Cash App, PayPal. Let me go on to the next person here real quick, and then I'll make sure I'm caught up on YouTube. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. By the way, everyone, we have less than an hour left on the TikTok stream. Just letting everyone know, less than an hour left on the TikTok stream. I think I might go for like 30 more minutes or so. We'll see, because I don't know if I'll be able to get 4 hours today anyway. Tomorrow, I might take the day off. Just letting everyone know. I might take tomorrow off. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Parker, stop being a little bitch. I'll beat the shit out of you, you stupid bitch. Fuck you and Dean, you stupid fucks. You're fucking
so triggered.
libtard.
Stay mad.
Yeah, fuck
Stay
you.
mad.
You fucking
Stay
racist.
mad. Stay fucking mad. Stay fucking mad, bro. He used the arsenal. He's so pissed off. Stay mad. Fucking stay mad. Put the tears in my cup. I'll drink them. I'll drink the MAGA tears all day. Yo, what's up? How old are you? I gotta get a MAGA tears cup. I gotta do it, chat. I gotta do it. It's a necessary point to do. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Hey, 39.
Do you support Donald Trump?
So to be clear, no, I don't. But
Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet said criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Jillian, thank you so much for the dollar. Thank you. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
I'm 28. Sorry, my signal was kind of bad. I'm not against you, Parker.
Well, I appreciate you very much. I am just looking for some debates. Thank you very much. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Let's go on to the next person here real quick. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
I am 28.
Do you support Donald Trump?
Yeah, go get a job. Parker, get a job.
Okay. If you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for?
Listen, I think maybe we should start from a mutual place of something we both can agree on.
Could you answer my question first? If you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for?
Trump.
Okay. Why'd you come on the live and say get a job? Was that a joke, or like
Oh
you
no,
being
I
serious?
I love your handle. It's hilarious.
Okay. So why do you support Trump?
So let's start somewhere where we could both be in a mutual place of I think we could agree on, right? Like, do you agree that we should raise taxes?
On income over $400,000 a year?
Just in general, do you agree we should raise taxes?
No, not in general.
Oh, all right. How about do you think we should get rid of drugs on the street, illegal drugs?
Depends on which ones.
Preferably illegal ones. I don't see marijuana as.
Well, you can't say that on the live. I got to go on to the next person. I'm so sorry. You got to say M drug. TikTok TOS. I'm sorry. You can actually come up in the future, and I'll let you come up. Just make sure you tell me that you said M drug, and I'll let you back up. And that we couldn't have our conversation. Let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
What's up, Liberace?
How old are you?
45.
Do you support Donald Trump?
Yes, I do, Liberace.
Okay. If you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for?
Trump.
Okay, why so?
Because I can.
Okay, what about it? Why?
Because I like how he's bombing the cartel members.
He's not bombing the cartel. He's bombing fishermen, right?
Okay,
who
they're not
specifically
fishing.
there was no
Radar,
evidence. There was
radar,
no evidence
radar.
they had drugs, and even if they did, it wouldn't make sense to bomb them. It would make sense to detain them once they get into U.S. waters.
I know, Liberace. I know, buddy.
Why are you calling me that?
Because you're Liberace.
What is that supposed to mean?
Figure it the fuck out, you dork.
Why can't you just tell me? You said it.
The fuck, bro? Liberace, bro.
Why are you so mad?
Because I can. Because you act like you don't know what the fuck it means, you idiot.
I genuinely don't.
I know, Liberace.
What does it mean?
Okay. Anyway, why do you
why are you
support
so mad? I'm just asking you, like, genuinely, what does it mean?
Why do you support Kamala, somebody that's not the president?
Well, over Donald Trump, because Donald Trump is a significantly worse candidate.
She's not the
He was
president.
advocating for, what?
She's not the fucking president, you dork.
No shit. Thank you for
All right,
letting
so
me know
why are
that.
you supporting the dumb bitch if she's not the president?
Don't refer to her that way. Don't refer to her that way. That's
Dumb
crazy.
bitch. That's what I said.
Do it one more time.
She's
I'll
a
kick
dumb
you.
bitch.
Okay. Later. You have like a 12 IQ, man. I don't want to hear that from you. You literally, your IQ's 12. Just barely hit double digits. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Hello?
How old are you?
I'm 48.
Do you support Donald Trump?
I would say that I am definitely more on that side of the fence at this point.
So if you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for?
I would vote for Donald Trump if having to choose between the two.
Okay, why so?
Well, I'll say that I'm a lifelong liberal. Values, and then about 3 years ago, my my alliances with that party were really challenged when I lost a son to the F drug.
I'm sorry.
And thank you. And it was kind of like as I went down the rabbit hole and started kind of learning a little bit about the impact that it was having, feeling really betrayed that like while that was sweeping our country and claiming lives at an unprecedented level, that we were, I think culturally, we were being kind of told that like our kids' greatest risks were people not wearing masks and the possibility of somebody, you know, taking them out with a pew-pew at a concert or something. And it was only like kind of going down that rabbit hole and kind of digging in and learning a little bit more about the statistics that were kind of manipulated versus the kind that the statistics that were manipulated as it pertains to pew-pews and kind of the impact that that was having, that violence was having on the casualties of children in comparison to the impact that illicit drugs were having on casualties, pediatric casualties, and seeing that there was a lot of, again, manipulation of numbers. I feel that the previous administration really failed to alert the country of the grave threat that was amongst us, and I had considered myself to be very in the know. I felt like I really knew what was going on with current events. And in retrospect, I can't really think of many times that they took, the previous administration took their platform to utilize it to really alert us about what was going on as it pertained to the scourge of these synthetic opioids that were infiltrating the drug supply.
Okay. Can you tell me what manipulation of data occurred? Because there was no manipulation of data under the Biden-Harris administration relating to guns.
So I think we were told that pew-pew violence was the leading cause of death in children.
It is.
And when I went down and kind of looked at the numbers, I found out that that statistic actually removes infants, because the leading cause of death in infants is actually prematurity and birth defects, and it actually included people up to the age of 25, which obviously is like, what, 3-4 years beyond adulthood. And it also included a 60% category
What's the
of
issue
people.
with that?
Well,
what's the issue with that?
meaning that a pediatric statistic shouldn't include people up to the age of 25.
Why?
Because
it's gun violence in our youth. I consider people under 25
well,
our youth.
but to call it a pediatric, I mean, it's still not, it's very misleading from my perspective to say the term child when you're talking about people who are 18 to 25. Furthermore, if you'll let me finish.
It wasn't a prescription of people 18 through 25. Push the galaxy, thank you.
What I'm saying is that when you say that it's the leading cause of death in children, and that statistic includes people up to age 25, I think the vast majority, the vast majority of us would find that to be misleading. And furthermore, the fact that that statistic includes people who've lost their lives related to mental health afflictions that cause them to take their own lives, and more than 60% of that statistic is comprised of that, also bolsters that in a very manipulative way. Furthermore, when you go and look into the statistics as it pertains to the pediatric deaths caused by illicit drugs, you'll find that they're kind of buried. They're under preventable death, and then under preventable death, it's under poisoning, and then you go into poisoning, and that's where you find like overdose death.
Can I tell you something real quick? So between the ages of 0 through 19, it is actually firearm injuries are the single leading cause of death. So
I'm
it's
telling
not
you.
taken into account up to 25.
Okay,
it's up
so
to 19.
well, the CDC website has statistics as it pertains to that violence, and it did in fact include ages up to 25. So maybe
that's
that
just
was
a
an
different
article.
mechanism. If you
Sure.
take into account up to 19, it still is true.
Okay. that's fine. So even if you say to 19, the fact of the matter is that the vast majority of that statistic do include a category of people who I think it is misleading to include because that's a mental health issue. It's not a
It's not
violence
misleading
issue.
to include when referencing children under the age of 19.
It's when you say pew pew violence, if you're going to say violence, then to me, and I think there are a lot of people who agree with me that is a misleading, and I'm not even here to minimize that for that matter. I think what's upsetting to me is that those numbers were used to really kind of pound it into us that like, this is what you need to care about. This is what your kids' greatest risks are. When in reality,
Statistically,
there were other, pardon?
Statistically,
And
it's true. Like, I mean,
when
like, you can't tell me
Okay.
that we can't say something that's factually true.
Again, I think including unaliving yourself as a pew pew violence statistic, I feel that's misleading. Personally, that's how I feel.
You don't think sewer slide is a risk to children? A risk to
I
people
do.
under
I
the
think
age of
it's
19?
a mental health. I think it's a mental health concern. I don't think it's a violence concern.
It is violence still. Like that is a method
Well,
of violence.
okay.
That's still a
I mean,
type
I
of
don't want to
violence.
go.
So
If you wanted to ask, if you want to let me finish telling you why I felt it was misleading, I will. And I don't think you and I are going to agree on the
I would like to be able to
semantics of
respond
what
at some point, though.
Okay, carry on. I'll let you. If you don't want to let me finish, I'll hear you out.
I literally just said I would like to respond at some point. That's all I said.
Okay, so then what I was saying is that I feel that my interpretation of that statistic is that it's misleading, and my takeaway, that was sort of the beginning of the veil kind of slipping as it pertained to what the liberal media and the Democratic Party kind of had prioritized and had kind of made their primary focus, and then kind of realizing the impact that some of their border policies had on some of these synthetic opioids getting into our country and the manufacturing of fake pills, which is what caused my son's, passing. And I think collectively there was initially just a feeling of betrayal. And then that kind of led me into like other revelations that I think I had previously been kind of blinded to because of my blind allegiance to the liberal agenda. And so that was sort of like, again, sort of the beginning of the end for me.
Okay, I have a few things to address here. One, it's not misleading. It's just a factual piece of evidence. And like I've showed you that, it's not misleading at all. That is the data. Okay. Now, you could say that you think that maybe we should also talk about the other risks that are affecting the youth, and I totally agree with you there. But to say that we are wrong in acknowledging that firearm-related injuries are the leading cause of death for children under the age of 19 years old, like that's just a fact. That's not like something we're making up. And then that was also different than your original claim that the stats were manipulated. The stats weren't manipulated at all. There was no evidence of the stats being manipulated. And then masks being an important thing for children to do. That wasn't a very important thing for us to do during the context of the pandemic. It was a global pandemic, the worst we've seen in the past 100 years, right, since the Spanish flu. So I think the idea that like we shouldn't have been wearing masks or even acknowledging that it's a huge issue in terms of people not wearing masks, well, that would obviously be an issue. I think it's a very big problem that we need to address is that people should have been wearing masks, people should have been social distancing and getting vaccinated. Those are important things to address.
And I
especially
did.
because of long COVID. There's a lot of long-term negative impacts that affect our health in the long run because of the fact that we've got COVID, which are still to this day being figured out, right? People have vast issues in terms of their lung health, right? Lung health was vastly negatively impacted, right? In the long run, specifically by people just contracting COVID, right? Let alone people didn't get back their taste buds, right? Some people don't have their taste back, and other sorts of long-term health complications in terms of heart defects and heart conditions, et cetera, that are obviously important to talk about. Alongside the idea that in terms of F-drug, the Democrats definitely are doing things to address it. Could you tell me anything Trump is doing to a greater extent to address the F-drug crisis in our country?
Well, right off the bat, I would say just the fact that he's actually addressing it and talking about it and actually acknowledging that it's an issue. I would say that in the 4 years of the previous administration, I cannot think of a single time that they took time to singularly address what has become the leading cause of death in Americans ages 17 through 45. Oh. Furthermore, I just want to say that as it pertains to your comment about it being misleading versus not misleading, you say firearm injury, and I'm talking about firearm violence, which are two very different things. I'm not disputing people who've been injured. But the idea of violence meaning something happening to you, you being
What are they injured
personally
from? Violence.
well, but in self-inflicted violence is different than like criminal violence. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about it in a criminal capacity. And I don't want to do the
It's still a
semantic thing
threat
with
to
you.
children,
I'm not
though.
really
Like,
interested in going down that rabbit hole with you because I think that's a personal interpretation thing. And I don't think we're going to see eye to eye on it. So I don't
if
even
you
want to
don't think
waste your
that
time.
sewer slide is a threat to children, then I'm sorry that you
I
need
do,
to rethink this.
but I think
It
it's
is
a mental
absolutely a
health
threat.
issue.
That's
You're
still
right.
a threat.
It's a
It's
mental
still an
health
issue.
But I mean,
So
if you are wanting to unalive yourself, does it matter by what means you're going to do that? Like the means
yes,
by
it
which you
actually
accomplish
does.
that? Well, then you and I we're not going to agree on that. But what I
Wait,
would
no.
like to think we
The
could
fact of the
agree
matter
on.
is that kids unalive themselves at a greater extent when they have access to
Well,
firearms.
here's the thing I was going to say to you is that in 2022, we had 43 infants and 90 children under the age of 5, all who passed away from the F drug. There was not a singular calendar year on record where that many infants and toddlers died from pew-pew violence, and nor did we have a 12-month window where that number of infants and toddlers died from COVID. So how is it that with that in mind, I mean, if that many kids and babies all drank the same formula, we'd be talking about that. That would be on every night news. But in that calendar year, none of that was talked about. And you know what's interesting is that of those babies, the average
You're literally wrong.
demographic was all people of color. And so for the party that cares so much about minorities, you've lost 43 infants and 90 brown and black babies, essentially, predominantly. And that's not like everything we're talking about on the 10 o'clock news. Like, that's not the biggest world issue that we're going to talk about. I mean, that blows my mind. And I don't think I can take anyone seriously who can't at least acknowledge that that's really weird.
So there's a few things I need to address here. One, the Democrats absolutely talked about the F drug crisis in our country. The fact that you didn't see that is going to be actually a result of the fact that you didn't look it up or you didn't do research on this, because this was vastly reported on and things that were being addressed under the Biden-Harris administration. They were dealing and working with other countries literally related to the F drug being taken across the border in order to be able to address it in the first place. The idea that Democrats did not address this is a lie manufactured by the right wing, specifically to try and make liberals look crazy or make them look bad. As of late, specifically, you can see the Biden-Harris administration actions to address the overdose epidemic. Right, please. That's literally a title of a WhiteHouse.gov article that goes over the key pillars of the unity agenda for the nation, specifically under Biden, to address this, starting as early as 2021. Right, as soon as they took office.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I mean, the idea that they didn't address this is ridiculous.
I would say that. Okay,
Go ahead.
carry on.
And like,
No, I was
also,
going to say, just because you can find one source in which that was brought up, I'm talking about the fact that it was significantly underscored to issues that when you look at the facts and you really kind of have them all in
according to
front
what
of you.
metric? Like, how do you identify that it was quote unquote underscored? What does that even mean?
Underscored means that, like, we still to this day have a live ticker that talks about how many people are impacted by COVID, even though we are like significantly outside of the peak of the pandemic, and yet we are losing an American every 11 minutes to illicit drugs. Where's that ticker? I mean, it's underscored in comparison to things
They have one for that. They have one for that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, not on the CDC website, they don't, which is kind of the
Now,
I feel that
that's under the Trump administration. You understand, prior, we literally on the CDC website absolutely had the amount of people that were specifically being attacked by F drug in this country under the Biden-Harris administration. That's true.
There was not, I'm talking about the live ticker that was on the CDC website that still exists, that's currently still there on the main screen.
You just said it wasn't there. You just said it wasn't there. Now it is there.
As it pertains to COVID, not as it pertains to illicit drugs and the amount of casualties.
Okay, so it does exist for F drug. What are you talking about?
On the main page of the CDC website.
So because it's not on the main page? I mean,
I'm talking about the fact that one is considered to still be was prevalently acknowledged, and throughout the entire time that the third wave of the opioid epidemic was from its inception to current day. And as it pertains to Trump, when you're asking me what has he done, I feel like there has been a shift in the time that he's since taken over. I didn't vote for him, but when answering your question as to would I now, the answer is yes, because everything that he committed to do as it pertains to the issues that impact me and my family predominantly, he has delivered on, or he is in the process of delivering on, from my perspective. And
What has
there's a
Trump
lot of
done
time.
other than just talk about it? Because I
Well,
can show,
he
I
signed
showed you
the.
examples of the Biden-Harris administration doing so.
I was a guest at the White House for the signing of the HALT fentanyl or the HALT F bill, and
Oh, you can't say that on
basically,
the live.
no, gotcha.
I'm sorry, it's TikTok TOS. I have to go on to the next person. I was gonna add Brett up, everyone. I just literally I was gonna wait a second because I wanted to like argue and have a debate first before I go into like a 2-on-1 sort of thing and address that. So I was gonna give it a second. I apologize. I was gonna add up Brett. Yo, what's up? How old are you? How old are you? All right, let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Alrighty, do give it a second, everyone. If you want to support me, as always, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, link tree in the bio, as well as the description of the YouTube, as well as you can support me over YouTube Super Chat. By the way, tomorrow I might not be on live, everyone. I'll keep everyone updated. If I do end up going live, it'll be super, super early. The other days I am here in New York, I will be live really, really, really early, everyone. What's going on in New York? Just literally visiting. Just visiting. I've never been to New York before, so I get to like a vacation and kind of see it for the first time. So that's really fun. That's really fun. So if you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen as always, everybody.
Fuck,
Yo, what's up,
nigger,
how old are you?
nigger.
You're a disgusting fuck. By the way, Charlie Kirk profile picture, by the way. That's what people who support Charlie Kirk apparently stand for. Caleb, thank you for the $1. Thank you. Abigail, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, I do think sewer slide needs to be talked about. Like the fact that like we would just like act like that's not a huge threat to our children in this country, I think is insane. As someone who specifically dealt with mental health issues myself, right, and different aspects of my life where that's actually been like a legitimate concern for me, the fact that that wouldn't even be talked about or that would just be like swiped to the side is crazy to me, because I think that's such a huge threat to our young people. DK, thank you so much for the $20 on YouTube Super Chat. Thank you so much, DK. I really appreciate it. 2 W's for DK in the comment section right now. Thank you. Mojo, thank you so much for the £5. Thank you. Neo, thank you so much for the $10. I really appreciate it. Thank you. MV, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $20. Thank you so much, MV. I really appreciate it. Thank you. She did absolutely, literally articulate a comprehensive strategy for addressing it. So I was trying to ask, what specifically did Trump do? Theta, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you. Neo, again, with the $2. DK, thank you for the $5. Kate with the $10. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm so sorry to hear that. Thank you so much, Kate. I really appreciate it. Yeah, it's crazy that they're trying to use the set of circumstances to act like they're the ones addressing it when historically speaking, they haven't. Coral, thank you for the $20. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Sweet Orange, thank you so much for the $5. DK, thank you for the $20. Thank you so much. Jake with the $15. Cheesy with the $5. Sarah with the $2. DK, thank you so much for the $15. Taka, thank you for the $10. Thank you. Jay with the $5. I am, absolutely. I've already got a place. But thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Jay. Thank you. Phoenix, thank you for the $5. Thank you. DK again with the $10. Thank you. Maurice with the $20. Thank you so much, Maurice. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Marcia, thank you for the $2. Andrea, thank you for the $2. Lenny with the $5. Thank you so much. Sensitive, thank you for the $3. Ryan with the £2. Tim, thank you for the $10. Ray with the $10. Thank you, thank you, thank you. DK with the $5. London with the $5. Maurice, thank you for the $5 as well. Thank you so much. Stacy with the $5. Thank you so much. Danielle, thank you so much for the $5. Gabby with the $1. Thank you. Abigail, again, thank you for the $5. Thank you so much. Alrighty, everyone. We're going to go into the last person for today, everyone. Last person for today. And then we're going to get off. If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen as always. It will help get it out to more people. Let's go on to the next person. I'll keep everyone updated on when I'm going to be live tomorrow, everyone. I'll keep everyone updated on that. On Instagram, if you want to check it out, everyone. I might go live super early tomorrow, or otherwise I won't be live tomorrow, but I will be live the other days. That'll be the only day I take off if I take off tomorrow. You, what's up? How old are you? How old are you?
Here, lay on your blankie. Lay on your blankie. Lay on your blankie. Here.
Oh, okay. Let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everyone. Everyone, if you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up and subscribe if you have not already, everyone. Also, I posted some YouTube videos so you can check them out as well. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Yo, what's up? How old are you? Let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Alrighty. If you're on YouTube, hit that like button, everyone. Let's try to get to at least 2,000 likes. How many likes are we at right now on YouTube, everybody? For the 3,000 people are here. How many are we at? Yo, what's up? How old are you?
I'm 19.
Do you support Donald Trump?
I do support Donald Trump.
What's your birth year?
2006.
What month?
May.
Okay. If you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for?
Actually, I did. I mean, Donald Trump.
Okay, why so?
I mean, I don't really support Kamala. She really is. Whatever. Donald Trump has more experience, you know.
And what?
And what? Sorry.
In what?
And I do believe in closed borders and deporting all the aliens.
Aliens? You mean undocumented
Yeah, the illegal
immigrants?
aliens. Yeah. The illegal aliens. Yeah.
Oh, is that like you're supposed to be rage baiting or something? Like,
I'm not
it's
rage
fucked up
baiting,
to call
sir.
people aliens, right?
I'm not rage baiting, sir. I do believe
Then why would you specify aliens after I just clarified to you?
they are aliens.
They're not aliens, of course not. If you do that one
Sorry,
more time, I'll just
sorry,
kick
sorry.
you. This is
Okay,
such
okay,
a
I
fucking
apologize.
stupid point.
Okay, I
I'm sorry.
apologize, I apologize.
Like, genuinely, don't do this. This is so stupid.
Okay,
Like,
okay,
this is
I
the
apologize.
lowest IQ response I've ever heard. It's just rage bait.
No,
You're just
I
trying to say a
apologize.
different
I said
name.
I said I apologize, Parker.
Jesus Christ. Go ahead. Why do you support Trump? Give me an actual reason.
Why do you support Kamala?
Kamala. Why do I support
It's-
Kamala Harris? Because she
Yes,
advocates for
yes.
better policy for working class Americans. Like, for example, she wanted to keep the tax cuts for all the tax cuts for income earners under $400,000 a year through the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. She didn't want to impose tariffs, so she actually was imposing less of a tax burden on working class Americans. Plus, it is the case that she also advocated to increase the child tax credit to the first year of a child's life to $6,000 for the first year, $3,600 through them being 5 years old, $3,000 through them being 18. As well as the $25,000 tax credit for first-time home buyers for new homes, the $2,000 cap on pharmaceuticals out of pocket, right? $35 cap on insulin for everyone, not just for people who are on Medicare. I can give plenty of other examples as well. Those are just a few.
Go ahead and name a few more, Parker.
Did you name two of the things I just said?
I wasn't really paying attention, man. That really has nothing
I'm just
to
gonna
do.
go to the next person. I'm not wasting my time on that person. Let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. I'm not wasting my last conversation on that person. They were just a waste of time. Yo, what's up? How old are you? How old are you? Alrighty, let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Let's go on to the next person, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. If you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Alrighty, do give it a second, everyone. If you want to support me as always, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Linktree in the bio, as well as the description of the YouTube, as well as you can support me over YouTube Super Chat. Let's go on the next person. Please, everybody, only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Alrighty. Alrighty, it's not adding this person up. Let me try the next person. Do give it a second, everyone. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
It's your fucking fault Charlie Kirk died, mate. It's all your fucking
What state do you live
fault.
in?
You and fucking Dean, mate.
What
all
state do you
your
live in?
fucking fault, you silly fucking nigger,
What state do you
mate.
live in?
It's all your fucking fault.
What state do you live in?
You fucking nigger. It's your fault, Charlie Kirk.
Charlie Kirk fan, look at that. You see, literally just Charlie Kirk fans using slurs. You guys are making Charlie look even worse than he already does.
Yo, you're
Yo,
a
what's up,
fucking
how old are you?
nigger.
Disgusting fuck. Let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Look at these low IQ Trump supporters joining the stream. Yo, what's up, how old are you?
I'm 21.
Do you support Donald Trump?
I do.
What's your birth year?
2005.
What month?
February.
You'd be 20.
Well, 21 if you count the 9 months in the belly.
We're gonna go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Yo, what's up, how old are you?
Oh, I'm 18.
Do you support Donald Trump?
Of course I do, mate.
What state do you live in?
I live in the UK.
New state dropped? New state just dropped, chat. New state just dropped. Trump must have annexed the UK. So the next person, only set a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. All right, let's go to the next person. Everybody, only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Yo, what's up, how old are you?
Fuck nigger.
Low IQ Trump supporters, look at this. Just a bunch of low IQ Trump supporters. Yo, what's up, how old are you?
28.
What's your birth year?
1997.
What month?
June 12th.
Okay, if you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for?
If I could go back in time to vote for either one, I'm going to vote for Trump twice.
Dude, you do not sound 28, bro. Let's go to the next person, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen, everyone. We are just looking for some debates. Last debate here for today, and then we're going to get off for tonight. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Nigger.
You see all these low IQ Trump supporters? Literally, there's no Trump supporters that have high enough IQ just to even give me an argument. Not even a single one has a high enough IQ to give me an argument, apparently. Joining the stream right now. Crazy. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
I love you. I love you so much. You're the best. I love you.
Let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up, everybody. Let's try to get to 2,000 likes before we get off. We're super close to 2,000. Super close to 2,000. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
45.
Do you support Donald Trump?
Of course I do.
Okay. If you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for?
That's not even a question. Trump.
Okay. Why so?
Why?
Yeah.
Just look what's going on right now and what the way the government was before. Basically, we had no government. We had a fragile old man pretending to be president. We don't even know who was behind all those things that was going on. I mean,
Yeah, we do. It was Joe Biden. Joe Biden absolutely was the one specifically engaging in presidential actions. Just because he didn't meet the set of criteria that you would want specifically from a president doesn't mean he wasn't able to fulfill the necessary qualities of being a president. I think it's very ridiculous to make that argument.
Parker, can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
Since deep inside you, do you really think that he was making all those decisions? A man could not even walk. That he had to, most of the time, he was pretending to be somebody. Like, bro, like, look at him now. He's almost dying, basically. And that was like...
He literally has
7 months
cancer.
ago.
So, like, of course, yes, he's dying. Like, I don't know why you would say that. But in terms of this, like, of course, I think he was the one doing the presidential actions.
So, I have a second question for you. So let's say
Literally,
they
like
find.
I'm confused. Just because he specifically isn't to the cognitive degree that you would like, doesn't mean he's not engaging in presidential actions. Like Trump isn't. Trump is clearly cognitively declined. Trump is clearly not cognitively aware. But it is the case that he's still fulfilling the necessary qualities of being a president. He's still doing the presidential duties.
Well, what makes you think that he was the one behind all those decisions? Why are you so sure of that?
Because he's the president and he has the utmost authority to make those determinations. So if he did specifically grant authority to other people to be able to fulfill tasks, well, then that's the duty of the president. So it means he was engaging in a presidential duty to be able to delegate tasks to others, such as Trump has.
We don't
as
know
well.
that.
Yes,
We
it
don't
is.
know that.
Yes, it is.
No, we don't know that.
They clarify the delegation of powers.
So basically, you're saying that you guys voted for somebody that he was basically. I mean, the guy from the get-go, he was like. And to be honest with you, I think Biden wasn't. If he would have been president like 15, 20 years ago, I don't think he would have made all those decisions that he made. That Pelosi made it, and
What
Chokey,
decisions did Pelosi make?
most of them. The guy
No?
was off.
That's
He was
obviously
off.
absurd.
He was off.
I'm sorry. Like this argument you're providing here is a weak argument. It's
Why?
Yeah,
Because
because
you
it
don't
is
agree with it, right?
It's not just because I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it because it's a weak argument.
All right, man.
Do you want me to explain why it's a weak argument?
Yeah, explain to me.
Yeah, because then you could say the same thing about Trump. Trump's not the actual president. It's actually Stephen Miller.
At least Trump goes to the press conference and talk, and he can actually speak. And walk.
Not very well. I mean, he said that the windmills were causing whales to die in numbers never seen before. He said that if Jesus were the vote counter in California, that he would have won the vote. He said that we should take it or look into using disinfectant by injection to fight COVID-19. He said that climate change is a hoax and the climate's going to start cooling and science just doesn't know it yet, literally undermining the scientific consensus. He said that specifically Tylenol usage during pregnancy causes autism when there was a specific study in Sweden specifically that overwent and overlooked the determination, or I mean, I guess the outcomes from taking Tylenol usage during pregnancy, and it indicates absolutely no association with Tylenol usage during pregnancy and autism after taking into account siblings and family.
All right, man. You guys are funny, man.
Do you have a response to anything I just said? How am I funny?
Because you can't admit that Biden was basically controlled by somebody else.
No, that's an
Why is
assumption that
that
you're
so
making.
hard?
You could say that he delegated tasks to other people, but every president does that. Trump has done that.
Okay, how many press conferences that Trump made?
So if you're going to judge whether or not someone's a good president based on how many press conferences they've engaged in, that's obviously a ridiculous way to analyze whether or not they've done something good as president. Could you give me a policy? Could you give me a policy of Trump's that you think is good for the country?
I'm not gonna say it because I know what you're gonna come at.
You mean I'm going to debate you in a debate? Like, of course.
All right, man. You just like Dean, bro. All right, man.
You mean I debate and I dunk on Trump supporters?
Mm-hmm.
And I prove them wrong? And you're going to run away because I proved you wrong?
How are you going to prove me wrong? You just proved me right.
I've already proved you wrong. You already got cooked. You had no response. You were stunned silent.
Oh. Abortion?
Yeah, do you have any type of response to anything I said?
Yeah.
What was your response?
None.
Exactly, you're stunned silent. He left. He left. Silent. He left. People on YouTube, everybody. Let me say thank you to some people on YouTube. Naya, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $5. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Willpower, the $5. The guests tonight are chopped. That's true. DJ, thank you so much for the $20 on YouTube Super Chat. Thank you so much, DJ. I really appreciate it. Yara, thank you for the $5. Thank you. Atomic, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you. 9 Lives, thank you for the $3. Lenny with the 10. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Alrighty, everyone. Let me ask my girlfriend if I should get off right now. Maze, thank you so much for the $10. Thank you. R1, thank you for the $5. Thank you. I actually was never in debate club. Luz, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $15. Thank you. Get off. Okay. Thank you so much for the $15. Thank you, Rosa, with the $5. Thank you. Stacy with the $5 as well. Thank you. Danielle with the $5. And Gabby, thank you so much for the $1. Kelly with the $25. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, Kelly. Thank you. Because of W's for Kelly in the comment section. Casey with the $2. All right, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for coming through tonight. Everyone, it really means the world. I might be on really, really early tomorrow if I end up being on. If not, I will be on not on the 25th, but the 26th in the morning, everyone. Early in the morning. I should be back to my normal debate times and debate studio and everything on the 28th is when I should be back fully. I'm in New York right now. I'm spending some time in New York, which is really fun. Really fun. I'm gonna have some good times. I actually haven't gone around at all yet. I literally just got here and just went live. So tomorrow I'm gonna have some fun, and tonight I'm gonna have some fun going and doing stuff. Thank you everyone for coming through tonight. I love everyone so much. Have a